Okay, cool. Sounds good. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Thanks for gathering last minute. I know we just missed you guys already, so want to see you guys all and everything.
See you guys before you leave.
I know. Kind of crazy. The always interesting before you leave on a trip. I'm sure you guys know the feeling. It's kind of like you think you got everything prepared, and all of a sudden, not really. So I guess it's interesting. Hey, Leslie. Hello. Great to see you. So I guess there's like 20 plus airplanes that crashed in this airline. Is that it?
Oh my gosh,
There's only one.
Okay. So my mom told me this, right? So James obviously has not been reading our messages.
I've not been reading the messages.
Because he's been just like working. But I told these guys already,
Okay,
but to give Leslie a background or the context. So there was a plane crash in Ethiopia, and they're still investigating on why it crashed, and it's the newest model, and the best-selling model by Boeing.
Gotcha.
China Southern Airlines, which is the airline we're flying tomorrow, has 22 of those aircrafts. So every single airline that has that model, they're like grounding the airplanes, so they can't leave anymore until they know if it's a software issue.
Gotcha.
And so our airline is not that model, but there's a chance that the time might change or whatever. So
Makes sense. Gotcha.
22.
Okay. I miss your things. Good thing I clarify, So always things that are interesting going on. So I'm on the phone.
Because he's like, 22 planes crashed, whatever. We're still going. Tomorrow we'll be in it too.
All good. We're going to heaven, So I call the airlines and I'm trying to figure out like what's going on and everything. And then I realized I was calling the wrong China Airlines. So I realized I just now and everything. So there's a China Airlines and a China Southern Airlines. So I'm like, I thought there's only Southern Airlines. Yeah. So I thought there was only one China Airline. So I'm like, fail, So we'll get that done. We'll get that done. Yeah.
So which one are you on?
Yeah, China Southern Airlines. I've never heard of that either. I know. So it'll be a lot of fun, But my mind is not even there yet, honestly. It's just right here. It's just right here, right now, And I've been chatting with Duke all day. We've been talking about the Golden Tree, and that's, of course, the purpose of our mission today. Because this is that interesting challenge for all of us to really be able to overcome and to be able to break through.
Yeah.
And I think for all of us, we've all had different interesting journeys onto this Gold Retreat so far. And I had an opportunity, I was chatting with Andrew, and it was a good chat. He's moving out today. So on to bigger, better things, which is exciting to see. But I just it was a great opportunity to kind of just talk about my observations as I'm going through what you guys are going through now as well too. And I'm really excited because this is a good time to take notes on what I'm doing. Because I'm doing exactly what you're doing. And it's really exciting. It's one thing to go out there and to say, I've done it before. This is what I would do. Versus this is live time. I'm doing it with you guys. All right, let's talk about it as a team. Yeah. What works, what doesn't work. Let's brainstorm this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I guess the way I describe it is I've been in these shoes before and I know exactly what I've done before. And now I'm just saying, okay, is it the same as it was before when it comes to achieving any type of goal? Overall, and let's describe it as this, Gold Retreat. Okay? What is it? It's just another goal. It's just another goal.
Yeah.
And the way to hit something like a Gold Retreat is the same as any other goal. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, just like a title advancement. And what's great is that everyone here has been through achievements before in your career. And you can go out there, and what's great about that is you can actually look at what you're doing now and compare it to the feelings and the same process of what happened before. And the great part about this is when you can go out there and really nail down the patterns of success and dial it down to a formula, it becomes contagious and momentum starts to build. I know. So a lot of us here, myself included, honestly, this is how I felt. I've hit a lot of goals in my life. We've been very fortunate. I remember the phase when I didn't know how to hit a goal for the life of me. I thought goals for the longest time were just like by chance and by luck.
Yeah.
I remember there were times when I would set a goal just to set it, just because it sounded nice. And my strategy was this: just keep on setting them and keep on running, and hopefully I'll get one eventually. You know? And there's a process that you have to go through to fail forward in that.
Right.
I would recommend not to fail forward, you know, because it's a lot less painful. The best example I would say is when it comes to even going out there, I lost trust with my team. Whenever you fail goals, it is very detrimental when it comes to your future teammates. I know, but it's also inspiring if you know how to fail forward at the same time. People want to see you strive and move forward.
True.
Okay. I remember when I was in RX in the beginning and I was just striving and I just wanted to break through things. And I'm the type that's naturally more the happy-go-lucky type. We have people here that are more on that side. We have the other side, which is more conservative. The type that says, I don't want to really talk about my goals. Let's just kind of be like under the surface, ninja status, and then go for it. And then there's the other side, which is just way too crazy, just saying things that are way unrealistic, and it sounds cool, but then the actual impact is not the exact same. Okay. I remember when I failed a challenge that I had with Duke, and this was in the beginning when I was getting into his inner core group. So he would run a series of challenges so we could earn his way up to Northern California. I know. And did the first challenge, totally bombed it. Have you ever had a goal in your life where you set it and then you went to the end of it and you felt like it was a just kidding one? It was like 10%. It was like, was that even a goal?
Yeah.
You know? So the first time around, it's all good, right? The first time around, you're getting engaged in everything, right? And I'm the type, when I fail something, I just lock it in again.
Yeah.
You know? And the second time happens, pretty much the same results happen again. And I'm like, okay, this is not looking too good. I have very thick skin. So I do it a third time, you know? And the third time it happens, pretty much the same results as well. By around the fifth time, Duke had a conversation with me, you know? And it's wise as you're going through goal achievement to talk to coaches that have hit many goals. Because if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're going to keep on getting what you're getting. I know. I would say I had too much thick skin. You want to fail forward, not just fail. Right? So I just kept on failing, honestly.
Yeah.
And you know it's bad to the point when you set a goal and you go out there, your top leader does not believe that you're going to achieve it. You know, and my top leader at the time was Becky, who we were not dating at the time. But I remember I would say, hey, we're going to go for this goal. And to the side, she pulled me over. She's like, are you sure you're going to do it this time? And I'm like, oh, man, I lost a lot of credibility right there. I know. And that's when I started to realize I need to really lock in this art of setting and hitting a goal. You know, and I got really obsessed about that. And that started me on my journey to really learn how to do things right. You know? Right now, what's great is we're all going through that process. Okay? We're all in the phase of dialing things in terms of the system that we're running. And we're also, more importantly, redialing in the momentum of the art of achievement. That's ultimately what we're learning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know. Gold Retreat is just that focus at the moment.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. So me coming back in the game, and I was telling Andrew this, if you guys noticed, the last couple of weeks, in terms of accountability with the group, I wasn't too huge on accountability. You know, I was more free flowing. And my notion was this, all right, and I'm just explaining my thoughts to you guys, was how can I lead someone else if I haven't proven that I can do it myself yet as well too? I've done it before in the past, but I want to be sharpened.
Yeah.
I want to be a current story. I want to be in the field with you guys, in the trenches, and experience the joys and the troubles and the breakthroughs that go through this. I know. And as I started to go through this, I'm like, wow, I remember what this feels like. I know what it's like to go out there and face like flakes and rejections. You know, I know what it's like when have you ever people that said, oh, I'll get started with you. And then they just stopped responding to you. I had that happen to me today. I know. Like multiple times, right? When you go out there and you expect that someone's going to show up and they totally don't. Or you got someone started and they're super fired up, and next thing you barely hear from them. You know, like you feel all these different things. You know, or what about this? Oh, let's get started. Car didn't go through. Oh, I don't have the money. When are you going to get the money? Next week. You follow up next week. Oh, I don't have the money. And you keep on following up, right? Like these are all things that are normal and typical that everyone goes through. You know, sometimes we think that as people get successful, they don't experience these things anymore. And I'll tell you this, oh no, you get more of it. You get more of it, you know? And it was really thrilling to go through that again. But long story short is I wanted to go out there and experience this journey because what we're doing right now is we're seriously pioneering something. And I want you guys to be aware of how to look at a pioneering phase. And I also want you guys to understand that what you're involved with right now, what this team is involved with right now, that's why I want to make sure it's a very specific crew. We're literally, if you think about it, you're pioneering future generations and what's going to happen. Okay? Yeah. Do you guys remember on Saturday, Duke was talking at Academy about in USANA, there was this position called Gold Director?
Yes.
So Gold Director, he kind of briefly mentioned it. That was like the officer or senior officer in USANA. And it was a 4-week title advancement. So imagine hitting officer 4 weeks in a row. And if you didn't hit it any of those weeks, you have to restart again. It's pretty intense. But it was like a nursing income. It was like 60 grand, 100 grand a year right there. Yep. I know. So that was kind of like the mark right there, okay? And when it first happened, people would hit it on average a year and a half.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, that was like the statistic. If you were committed, a year and a half. Yep. The first time you do anything, I would expect that it's going to take longer. True. Because isn't that what a pioneer is all about?
Right.
You know, sometimes when we go into something new, a goal, we jack ourselves up because we don't have the right expectation. We think, oh, this is going to be simple. This is how I set it up, especially if it's new. I know there's going to be challenges. Right. I know there's going to be barriers that no one else has ever faced. But I'm excited to encounter those. You know? It's just how a pioneer is. I know. Yep. Gold Director eventually, though, got so fast, it became a 5 to 6 week run for some people. Yep. And just think about that.
It's like
when they came in. Gold Director. Imagine when officer in 5 to 6 weeks after getting started. Like literally, you know what that means? That means you got started week 1, and then week 2 or 3, you started hitting officer consistently 4 weeks in a row. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Like, it gets really, really fast.
Just like ours gives us 8 weeks to do goal sets, but now people are hitting it like the first
day.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's like the mile run.
Yep, right? It's the mile run. When they said that in the very beginning, if you know the mile story, the 4-minute mile is like, it was like this legend. Basically, if you could run a mile under 4 minutes, that's called the 4-minute mile. And that for the longest time was looked at as like the unicorn impossible. Everyone in the world thought that the 4-minute mile was totally impossible. And all of a sudden, you know what happened? There's a guy named Roger Bannister, all right? And he broke the 4-minute mile. And you know what's so interesting? Almost immediately after that, within weeks, another person in the world broke a 4-minute mile. And then more people did it. And now it's like everyone does, it's like no big deal. But up until the first pioneer, it looked impossible. It looked impossible. Yeah, because if you don't think it's possible, it's not going to be possible. You know? But there's always going to be a pioneer. See, this is the interesting part of the story. Who goes down in history is the Roger Bannister. Who doesn't go on the story is the second and third and everyone afterwards. I don't know the other names. We just know Roger himself. When it comes to what we're doing right now, this gold retreat is currently the 4-minute mile. Currently is. Because no one in the organization has done it yet. I'm still wrapping. I'm like, God. So nobody's done it yet? Nobody's done it yet. Nobody's done it yet. So close. Very close.
There's a probably a bunch that are right there.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling there might be a couple that are closer. The closest one would probably have been like a Courtney. But apparently, obviously, she didn't hit it because they would have talked about her hitting it on Saturday when she was interviewed, right? She probably killed the retail side. She's probably worked on the rep side, you know? But it looks like no one else, because I was just chatting with you, no one else has currently gone out there and actually wrapped it up. All right. So first of all, how I would feel about that is understand it's not like this is a piece of cake thing currently. So if you've been having struggles with it, everyone's been having struggles with it. So you're not weird. All right. Now, how I look at it is this, though. There's two ways to look at this. Okay. And I was chatting with Andrew about this. There's going to be two waves of people. You can be either the pioneer or you can be the follower. The way I look at it, I'd rather be the pioneer.
Yes.
I'd rather be the pioneer for many different reasons. Number one, if you go out there, imagine in the second wave, because I already know this gold retreat, once it's cracked, the code is cracked, it's just going to get cracked faster and faster and faster. You're going to see people do it within not just 4 weeks. You're going to see people do it in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I bet you're eventually going to see someone do it in 1 week. And it's going to become typical and normal. That's just how it gets. I look back to the day when officer in the organization was like, there was an officer week and Lily was a part of that run. I know. And it's interesting, right? Lily, think about back in the day. Didn't officer, if you really think about it, the work was more technically. The volume was more. But the ease, didn't it feel easier back then compared to a gold retreat now? When you were going through officer and senior officer and president, in terms of the mentality?
You mean, did that seem easier than this?
Than gold retreat.
No. I think like senior officer was really hard. The president was easier.
President was easier.
Even though it's more volume.
Yeah. So president was easier.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Compared to a gold retreat.
Yeah, which has more components.
Gold retreat, you did well, if you think about president, that's 20,000 points of production compared to maximum 3,000 points.
And you sponsored more than 4 reps.
Oh, yeah.
During those runs.
Yep.
In like a week.
Oh, man.
So it's just a period of like lack of time in between.
It is a built-up muscle. It is a muscle of goal hitting. I know. So long story short, all of us, right, got into a period of muscles atrophy.
No.
Atrophy. You know, that's really what happened, right? And that's okay. That's okay. So this goal that we have to start somewhere, we had to reconfigure a lot of things. And it was important, right? It's kind of like what happened, if you use an example, is you went to the gym hard and then you injured yourself and you realized your form was off at a certain extent. You know, like my back, you know, like I checked up my back and I was out of the gym for 6 months and now I'm back in the gym.
Yeah.
I know. We know that we can climb up again, but what we're doing is we're just extra dialing in the system that we run with, the quality that we do, to make sure that what we do can go all the way this time. Does that make sense? So it's normal in this rebuild phase that it's going to feel challenging, which is a good thing if it's challenging. You know, that means that you're able to grow out there.
Right.
And this is the way that I view it. Okay. I view it in a couple different ways. Number one, can we all agree our goals are way bigger than a gold retreat?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, like it's in the way. And this is how I thought about the gold retreat when I first heard about it. Okay. Because I look at it from a skeptical eye. Whenever there's something new, it's normal that it's slightly doubted and criticized because it's a new concept. Anything new is going to be slightly scary, right? The questions of, will this work? You know, is this the way to get to where we all need to go to? I know. And this is how I looked at it, right? When you look at the logic itself, gold retreat, it looks very solid. It looks very solid. I just think about the math, right? Imagine you had 10 teammates of yours qualifying for the gold retreat. Don't you think your paycheck's going to be pretty crazy?
Yeah.
You know what the number one issue of 2017-18 was? The number one complaint of reps was this: James, my team is not running. My team is not building. I'm building, but my team is not building. Did you guys ever feel that way before?
Yeah.
You know? So what's great about Gold Retreat is it goes along the lines of that making an extra $500 a month, which is life-changing.
Definitely.
Case in point, I know, of course, Frank, I'm recording this from now, you know, and Frank's new, so he's adjusting to the culture and stuff. He has a midterm tomorrow. I told him yesterday he's close to wrapping up his ultimate upgrade, and he is running with that. So he's actually setting up and he's doing, as we speak, his own customer run right now. You know? And Frank now is within 5, maybe 6 weeks old in his business. And he's running on this new track.
Yeah.
And what I feel, I'm like, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time a teammate that quickly picked it up like that. You know? Now, Frank's the first of many generations, but that's proof of concept enough, you know? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you explain
Customer run is basically, and it's going to be a training that Duke's going to go out there and train on more. I have not seen an actual customer run. But what I am viewing, because I asked the details what it is, the way I look at it is basically a quick sample party that does not have samples. And you're just going more direct towards what they want.
Are they one-time customers instead of a preferred customer?
Well, right now, anything we're doing is a retail customer. So all of them are technically one-time customers currently.
That's what a customer run is.
A customer run is just, okay, let me describe. Sample party is meant to have multiple people. You sample products. It's a full-on presentation. Customer run is honestly what most of us have been doing. One-on-ones.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
One-on-one, something quick, something to the point.
Yeah.
You know? It sounds like it might be something even more quick, like a 30-minute thing, but then I heard Courtney, she said hers take an hour.
I think it's, so Duke is going to go over that, but for me, what I'm running off of, since we've never seen it either, is something, so number one is, who do you do a customer run with, right?
Yeah.
So usually a sample party is like legit, like you're doing it at a home.
Yep.
You have products all set up. You have samples. There's more than 2-3 people, so it's a party, right? And a customer. So then you go into our support, and it's more of a comprehensive explanation of products. And a customer run is like your friend is interested in your product, and you sit down with them, you show them a couple videos, and you got them to buy something.
Yeah.
Or someone's interested in your Sunrex story at church, and then you're like, oh, let's grab lunch and talk about this. And then you show them the slides and a couple before and after pictures to get them as a customer. Or like someone that's for a new rep, maybe it's like their family, like the people that they would call for help when they're stuck on the road. Yeah. So it's like, hey, can you help me out and like take a look at this? Like that's not a sample party, right? Because they didn't really want to go to a demonstration and for samples and everything. So like the way I'm imagining it is it's quicker, it's more efficient, it's easy. It's like things that people can just do living life, you know, rather than like schedule 2 hours and actually bring all the stuff and like have a whole setup, you know, because it takes time for a new rep to build a sample party kit, for example, because they don't have all the empty products yet, right? Or to know everything about every single product. But it, like every single new rep in 2 weeks can do a quick customer run because they can just easily say, oh yeah, this thing is like all natural. I lost 5 pounds in the first week. Look at all these people's before and after pictures. How do I get it? Here's a smart link. This is how much it is. Like that's like a customer run.
So I think that's what I do.
Exactly. So that's
I think it's what we normally
that's
do.
what we've been doing, but we're just like
never labeled
haven't
it like that.
labeled it.
Exactly.
And I think it may when we say sample. But so like I think what happens is when we make it too complicated, like new reps are not willing to step up. Like they don't talk to people about the products because they're like, oh, I don't know as much as Lily or Pam, so I'm not gonna say anything about the products. And they're a product ninja because they're like, I'll wait until my product expert comes. Yeah. But in reality, they can all already start selling.
Yeah. Exactly. Good questions. Good questions. It is pretty much what we're doing right now, which is great, you know.
Maybe because I noticed on our bio it says OBTT and
customer run. Yeah,
that is true.
That is
true. That is true. That is true.
I always like to ask them. That's SP. That's why I thought.
Sample party was a new concept when we moved. When we started having more products in ours. We never did sample parties before. We just recruited.
We're defining all these things. Yeah, exactly. So we're reintroducing all these concepts now. We're redefining it as a group, which is great to see, you know. So the last call we're on, how did we get there? man.
You were talking about
that's challenging in their growth.
Yes, exactly.
I think you were talking about like
expectations.
Manage expectations.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So just know, and this is how I viewed. I want to talk about exactly what I went through in the last couple of weeks myself. You know, and hope that can be helpful for you guys and the observations that I made on what I did versus what I see the field doing as well too. You know, and right off the bat, number one, I view myself as a brand new rep in this.
Yeah.
I view myself as a brand new rep in this. You know, and I view it as an equal playing field. Okay. Right now is anyone's opportunity to totally be, and I use everything in my environment to motivate me. Okay. Some of us here are very competitive. You know, I was talking to Andrew, and we know Andrew when it comes to basketball competitions, like he is very intense with it. You know, Lily, when it comes to competitions, is like badass with it. You know, Pam is crazy as well. You know, like we're all naturally pretty competitive. Okay. So I like to put myself in situations where I can be extra motivated, right?
Right.
So I'm looking honestly as the entire organization as a friendly competition.
Yeah.
First with that, you know, if I felt, this is how I feel, if I didn't like how my previous business has been, this is that shot I've been waiting for to just completely wipe the slate clean and redo my track record. Right now, all of us are new.
Yep.
You know, so we can reset our standards. I know it is day one. Okay. So that being said, I also know this too. Strategically speaking, isn't it the easiest to kind of go forward and be number one when everything is fresh and new? Because you know what happens when everything is fresh and new? People naturally are more hesitant to go all out.
Yeah.
People don't normally want to be the pioneer because pioneering is kind of scary. You know, it hasn't been proven ourselves yet. I know. So knowing that there's going to be a group of people, this is my mind thinking, right, that's going to hold back. So if I want the best odds of winning this game, and I look at everything as a game, right? Play games in your mind that are going to help you succeed and get you to your goal. This is my best shot of going out there and just knocking out of the park and get ahead. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So right at the bat, that's why I decide right now, this is the best time to go out there and run. Okay. Another thing is this, I also want to go out there. The honest reason why I want to run, I just want to go out there and pick up that momentum again.
Yeah.
I want to experience that feeling of climbing up, that feeling of achievement, that feeling of success. I know. I want a very healthy self-confidence in my life. Where you feel like anything you say you're going to do, you want to go out there, you're going to go out there and get it done. I know. And I decided to choose the gold retreat as that thing that was in the way. We all have long-term goals. I know a lot of you have vision statements, for example. We all have shorter-term goals as well, too. I have a lot of things that drive me. You know, about to turn 30. That's a big one. Going out there. And you know what that does? It makes you realize time is very, very short. Very short. One thing I've noticed as I'm studying successful people, they all shorten time. Life, I'll give you one example. This was a really telling one. Ed Mylett was talking about his parents, and his dad is cancer, you know? And he's like, you know what? Like the way I view it, like I hope I have 1,500 more times I can be with my dad. But honestly speaking, he's like, it's probably not like that. And it's not the amount of time there is, like years there are, it's the amount of moments you have with them. And if you really thought about it, he could probably count it like, you know, not too much. So when he realized that, he's like, I don't have that much time. Successful people are in a hurry to get to where they need to go to. I know. That urgency is a very important part. So the way I view a gold retreat is this. I have so many things I want to get checked off. This is in the way. I can't afford to wait to take action on this. I need to hit the ground running every single day. You know? Because the longer, this is how I look at it, right? The longer I go out there and wait to get this done is more time away from getting Becky out of her job. Is more time away from us starting our family. You know? Is more time away than all of us traveling the world together and just, one day I want to travel a lot more. I want us to all experience a lot more things. You know? I would love it if we could all fly first class somewhere someday.
Yes, I think we should do. We should have like imagine like an hourglass that has like the sand thing to see through the.
Dang.
I forgot what that thing's called.
The hourglass. Yeah, the sand secret through the hourglass.
Yeah, hourglass, yeah.
Yep, you got it. That's true. It's very, very true. You know, us as our own entrepreneurs, you have to be able to set your own deadlines that you feel urgent about. So for me, I want to pick a deadline that is more closer, that I can feel an urgency about. So Gold Retreat, because it's like, what, a month-long thing, that's a perfect amount of time that I can focus in on. I'm not that good where I can focus in crazy and get fired up about like a crazy year-long goal. That's not how I function. I want something that's right there in front of my face that I know is going to be a stretch for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I chose this one to go out there and be that one as well too. I know? And the biggest thing for me was I wanted to go out there and prove to myself that I could accomplish this. I didn't care approval from anyone else. I want to do it for me. I want to do it for my future. You know, it's a personal promise and a commitment where I said, I'm going to get this done no matter what. I know. You know, the cool part about doing it like that is that as you go towards, you know what's inspiring? As you go towards your goals, other people are inspired towards you. What is a leader? A leader is someone that just sets their own standard and just goes for it. They run at their own pace. They run at their own tune. And people become attracted to people that run like that in their life. I know. We were talking about Ava, who just did her bikini thing, you know? And she attracted like a Karina on board with that mission. She wasn't trying to, I'm sure, but she was just a woman on her track, and all of a sudden a Karina comes on board. So I want to set myself on fire. I know. So the first thing that I do, I psych myself out of my mind. Like I get like in the zone. We need to get obsessed. Obsessed. It's like my daily thing that I think about all the time. I know. Can you feel that energy that goes into that?
Yeah.
I'm focused like a laser beam, man. You know? And every single day, that is there. That's my priority. When you have a priority, the rest of your day can actually get scheduled a lot easily. Have you ever found yourself get distracted really easily? I do that all the time. You know? You go on Facebook, oh, let's keep on scrolling, you know? Man, Facebook is dangerous, man. That thing is addictive. You go on YouTube and you keep on watching the videos, or you take a little bit too long somewhere, you know? When you have an urgent deadline that you're focused on a priority, you're able to get yourself out of that. Today, I found myself scrolling through Facebook a little too long. And I'm like, James, like, gosh, like, get out of that. And what are you doing? You know, like, you got goals going on. I'm just talking about what's going on in my inner mind. You know, it's like normally, like, I'm not that intense, but this is like what I say to myself. Your inner game has to be really, really strong. You know? If you want to be a pioneer.
So one thing I want to add is, because it is a habit, right? Like it's hard to, because you can, like, we can do that, but if we don't have someone next to you telling you, hey, like, you're scrolling on Facebook for too long, sometimes we don't realize it. We don't pick it up. So one thing that really helps me is schedules. Like I literally schedule things every single hour of my day. Like packing, I'm scheduling in time, because I can be like picking out outfits and spending like 5 hours on it because you just keep going. Or I can say like, I only have 2 hours to do this. And sometimes I end up wasting time because I'm like, I got distracted on like watching a video on Bali and like, you know, so I'm like, I'm not focused, right? And then I'm like, well, that just means I have to pack that faster because I only scheduled this amount of time for me. So you have to find ways to bring yourself back into the zone, you know, because like it's, and then over time, you're going to have this self-awareness that James talks about, where he can catch himself, like he can be aware that he's like veering off track, you know, like, and I do that even with like conversations sometimes, like when, because, you know, sometimes you have a conversation, like I'm talking to my mom and it's like, it lasts forever, you know, because, and then it's like all good, but if I didn't have anything scheduled, I would just keep talking
Very true.
about everything.
Very
but if
true.
I had schedules, I would be more intentional.
It's very true.
And I actually learned that like at my job because all their meetings are super short. Like they're like 25 minutes. So, because a lot of our meetings are like back to back. So if you're late for the next meeting, then you end up like, well, one, people will kick you out of that room, but two, like they'll have to hang up, you know, because they have another meeting to go to. So you have to be so intentional. So like I learned to like now like to be able to like literally just like, okay, like we're taking too much time. Let's talk about this. This is more important, you know? So we have to be able to schedule that. And I've always been like a schedule type of person. Like I've always like, but that really helped me because everyone gets distracted, you know? But especially when you don't have a lot of time, it's even more important for you to schedule things in. Like I schedule family time, you know? Like I schedule everything. Like even when I go out with my friends, like for like a catch up brunch or something, like I put it in there, and that includes like driving there and leaving. So I'm like, okay, like I have to, if I want to catch up with all these things, I have to get there faster, you know? So those are like things that you can do to help you put more structure so you can get the things done that you want to get done. So you're not like sleeping by the end of the night saying, oh, I had 10 things on my to-do list and I haven't done any of them. Because you did everything halfway, you know?
Totally. Yeah, that was the next point, which is perfect actually. The biggest takeaway I think both of us had these last couple of weeks is dialing in a system for your life where you can get it all. You can get it all. I don't want you to just feel like we're just like workaholics all the time. You know what's interesting? The last couple of weeks, we had the most friend gatherings, the most family events, the most personal time, the most church time, the most time to hit the gym, and be able to devote ourselves to the business as well too. We were able to get it all done. Who sure wants to have a life where you can have it all?
Yes.
That's what I want to be able to do. I want to have a balanced life. Meaning I'm able to get everything that I want at the same time. It doesn't have to be, we only need to work the business and build this up and then enjoy, but we can have everything at the same time. But it has to be intentional, it has to be scheduled. And Tony Robbins says it always comes down to your daily rituals. It's your daily rituals, you know? So I realized, for example, and this is like my life system now, I realized for me, if I don't have my gym time or exercise, and if I don't have daily quiet time, some type of meditation, prayer, whatever it is, quiet myself, regather my thoughts, map out my day to a certain extent, and this could be like 15, 30 minutes or something, you know? If I don't get that in, the rest of my day gets really out of sync. It gets really messy. Have you ever felt like your day just left your control and it was just all over the place? You can either have your day slap you around or you can go out there and seize your day. But a little bit of daily quiet time to allow yourself to control everything, schedule things, is going to be very beneficial. I know. Another thing that I do is at night, like what Becky does, is schedule out the next day. Know what your general schedule is going to be like. I know. And that includes things like family time. Hey, I'm going to be there for 2 hours right now. And be present when you're there in that family time. You know, let's say you're in the gym, be present when you're in the gym. When you're doing your business, be present when you're doing the business. I know. And
even chores. Like I think people end up spending so much time. Like, because when I ask people, what did you do today? Like, I run some errands. And it's like, all day? Like how is that possible? And you know why? It's because you're driving around and you're like, oh, I should pick this up. Oh, I'm talking to someone on text, and like, you know, like, and you just get distracted, and you actually don't feel good because you feel like you got nothing done. But if you like know the dedicated time, you get things done a lot faster and more. Exactly. So those are like extremely important, because what we want is a balanced life. Right. We want a good life that moves forward. You know, so those are important. Then from there, also scheduling like all this. You know what happens though? When you do those other habits, you build momentum. When you get up early and you hit the gym and you did it, you build momentum. When you do your daily quiet time, you build momentum. When you go out there and you make your bed, for example, you build momentum.
little promises you can keep to yourself that are commitments to your daily thing. They become requirements. Your nutrition, daily rituals, they build momentum. And you start to feel like you have a control of your day again. And when you start to feel like you have a control of your time, you then say, why don't I carry that into the other aspects of my life? Let me carry that into my business. Hey, who here has ever felt like you had a really good workout before and you walk out, don't you feel like $1 million?
Yeah.
You feel like you're high on life.
Yeah.
You technically are, it's called endorphins, but you feel good. You feel accomplished. And imagine you did a meeting right after that. Don't you think your energy is going to be that much stronger?
It's true.
I want to make sure, especially in our business, right, that when we do our business, we're 1,000% there because it's a transfer of energy. I know people sign up with you at the end of the day.
Exactly.
How are you living your life?
Right.
Right. So ironically, the interesting thing was I ended up doing more things that were not even business related and enjoyed life a lot more. I had one of my good friends. He had his birthday with Korean barbecue. My brother, you guys saw my brother the other day and the sister-in-law. They were up here. We enjoyed our time in San Francisco, We spent time with the grandparents, of course. We did all these things still, and we loved and enjoyed that time, but we still were able to get our business done. And I realized, you know what? Because it's all about life growth at the end of the day, And the business kind of grows by default. Now, one more habit I had as well, too, is I needed to make sure that when I work, I actually do work.
Yeah, exactly.
You can call it income producing activities. Yes. And you'd be surprised what an hour or 2 hours of focused work a day can actually do.
Yeah.
Some people think, James, well, I don't have that much time. I have all these other things going on. I don't know if I can do this because of that time limitation. Honestly speaking, when I look back at it, I wasn't working 24/7 by any means. But I did have some slots of dedicated, focused time building my business.
Yeah.
You know what I feel? I'm like, I want to get this hash out as quickly as possible so I can enjoy the rest of life.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur, the biggest thing I realized is time is so valuable.
Absolutely.
I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste it. And we only have so much time in our lives.
Right.
So let me go out there, and if I'm going to work, let me work fast.
Yeah.
Let me do things quick. So I can enjoy the rest of my life again as well too.
Yeah.
I want to get past this so I can get here as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Make sense? And what I ended up doing was talking to around 10, sometimes 20 people a day.
Yeah.
And that consistent habit now, it's now a discipline, really creates opportunities for you. Just a simple thing like that. Can you imagine you talk to 10 people a day? These could be follow-ups. These could be just general conversations. This could be prospecting, like surveying, things like that. If you did 10 a day and you did that 5 times a week, wouldn't that be 50 conversations? Let me ask you this, out of 50 conversations, aren't the odds pretty high? You're probably going to land in a conversation where you can see them benefiting from some of the products.
Yeah, definitely.
You're probably going to find something that can benefit from the opportunity.
Yeah.
That is something that I found now as a daily ritual, as a habit, that just makes my life so much easier.
Yeah.
You know what does as well too? You're not in desperate mentality.
Right.
You don't have to wait. Some people say, well, James, I didn't hit my goal because there were a lot of follow-ups, or they didn't buy on time, or I didn't have enough time.
Right.
And no, really what it is, honestly speaking, if you just look at it, if you talk to more people, as simple as it sounds, but that really is what it is.
It's true.
I realize this. I never want to be waiting on another prospect. Anytime you're twiddling your thumbs, that's not a good place. Anytime you're at a standstill, that's not a good position to be in.
Yeah.
You're on the defensive rather than the offensive. Right. Why not spend that 30 minutes of waiting doing something more productive?
Yeah.
And you know what's kind of funny though? Is that energy of non-desperation, basically, that abundance carries, and it ironically makes you more attractive.
That's true.
People feel that.
That's true.
We've all talked to someone before, a salesperson that seemed very desperate.
Yeah.
Like, I need your sale. I want to do everything I can to never be in that position. And it makes your life way less stressful. You don't have crazy expectations on people. You're just like, hey, if you join, cool. If you don't, cool. If you sign, cool. If you don't, cool. You just keep on planting. So that's what I started to realize. Okay. So as you dial in these rituals and then you get into the habit of it, every single day is a separate challenge. every single day is another opportunity for you to better your best.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I want every single day to be? The best day ever.
Yes.
Did I do everything that I could?
That's right.
Did I hit my achievements that I targeted that day?
Mm-hmm.
Did I make forward moving progress in my lifestyle, in my business, in my goal, like the gold retreat? And I have a reflection by the end of the day.
That's right.
And I map out the next one. I know?
Yeah.
Success is a daily thing. It's not a weekly thing. It's not a monthly thing. It's not a yearly thing.
Right.
Okay. And I embraced that journey right there. Okay. So then I realized as I went into it, as expected, when I started, it's not like success was right away. In the beginning, as you're dialing it all in, go with the expectation. It might not be as quick as what you might want it to be. It might not be overnight. You're dialing yourself in. But you know how I feel? I know that in that phase of getting my groove in, I just got to get past that phase as quickly as possible. I want to be in a phase where I just have this system flowing for me as quickly as possible, so I just run it from there. I know? So every night, I just be thinking, like, what can I do better the next day? If I needed help, I'd ask for advice. You know? If I felt like I knew an idea, then I try it the next day somewhat different. I realized waking up at a certain time is better for me, you know? I realized talking at this time to people is better than me, you know? I realized that so on and so forth. My daily stuff, is it getting better? And you know what starts to happen? I realized around week 1, it wasn't the best. Week 2, I started to get like my first enrollments and stuff. And then week 3, that's when the seeds that I planted from before really started to sprout. And we ended up going out there enrolling 3 people. The last one right now is 40 points away from getting activated. You know, we're this close to wrapping up a retail sale right now. I just have a couple follow-ups. And we have another 2 people as reps that are follow-ups right now. One should be buying products this Friday. Another one I'm still following up with as well too. And a whole lot of other people in the pipeline that I can still talk to about either the business or the products. And still new prospects that I'm going. And new teammates now to work with. I know? Now, and it's just a couple weeks that you can go out there and do that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to paint a picture that the 10 to 20 a day is not linear growth. Because a lot of times we feel like, if we talk to 10 people a day, then maybe we'll get 1 rep, 1 customer. But it's not linear growth. It's exponential. Because what happened to us was the seed that he was planting before, like more, because when you're building a relationship, when you're like just following up with people, like I had a friend that got on the clinical pack, or she was the sister of one of my friends. So I've only met her once, but she was like messaging me on Facebook, and I just kind of like was talking to her as a friend. She's in another network marketing company, not product based, and I got her on the product on a clinical pack, and she actually didn't lose any weight. So she like didn't get results on the product, but she also has a bunch of health issues, like it was really weird issues, but she wasn't like upset. She was just kind of, because I took care of her, and she was just like, I'm like expecting this because a lot of things don't work for me. But, and then 2 weeks ago, I went to just grab lunch with her, getting to know her a little bit more, and she just bought a water bottle from me today because when we were talking about it, I had my purity, and she asked about it, and I was kind of talking to her about it, and she's like, I'm looking at this other purity, other water bottle, and then I was just sending her information. But see, these things are like, it didn't happen overnight, and I wasn't even trying to sell her a water bottle. It just happens because you're exposed, right? You're like exposure, like you're getting people to know more about the products. You're showing people that you exist, you know? Like if you don't talk to them, they won't remember you. They won't be like, I need to go to Andrew for this thing. They won't know if you don't put yourself out there. That's you know? True. And this past Saturday, like it's like, I mean, when was the last time we had more new people than the OGs? Like never. You know, like we had 4 brand new teammates coming to Academy for the very first time. And then Frank and Mark came, and they're like 4 weeks old. So that's like 6 newer people in this generation. And 4 out of the 6 like stayed for the VIP event, right? So it just goes to show and that this is all work that's been done in the past like 3 weeks, like since Super Saturday. You know, so it wasn't even and we were still kind of learning how to do it, right? So it's really, really quick. Like you can have a business, you can have 6 people in your business in 3 weeks at an academy. But we need to like have some strategies, which James is going to go into, because I think that really, really helped him to be able to like pick up the momentum.
Exactly.
You know, because things that you all can do, but sometimes we have so much to work on, we get confused and we get distracted, and we're just running like chicken with our head cut off, you know? So, but I think this is really going to help us more organized.
Absolutely. It's exciting, man, to see that the sparks are coming. And I just want to be able to show you that because it's totally possible. It's totally possible. And we want to go out there and walk you guys through it, all right? So let me make sure that we got everything going on so far. Any questions so far? Perfect.
I still don't know the difference between
linear means 1 + 1 = 2. Exponential is like 1 + 1 = 10.
So like if you look at graph, it's like I work this many hours, I get paid this much, right? So it's like it's linear. But exponential, it goes this way. So you work the same amount of hours, so you're consistently talking 10 to 20 people every single day, but your growth will be like this.
And they're 10 to 20 new people. They're not like
they could be follow-ups.
They could be follow-ups. They could be conversations. Basically, non-reps, non-customers. People that could yield to sales or connections.
So income producing.
Well, I'm just looking at like this exponential, like Frank. Like you brought Frank in, then that brought Mark in, Mark Bonds. You know, that is like
I mean, not even with just team. Like even with your personal sponsor, it goes exponentially. Like if you can get a personal sponsor once a week by talking to 10 to 20 people a day, like by the third week, you might be getting 4 personal sponsors in a week, because all the people that you talk to and you build a relationship might want to see what you're up to. Exactly. It's always like that. The beginning of anything is going to take a little bit more time, but it doesn't take long. I believe it can be, if we did it in a couple weeks, I believe now you guys hearing this can be actually faster. It should be faster because you're hearing exactly what we went through. So you can actually do things even better and more precisely and avoid the things that did not work as well too. Okay. So that's the first thing. Then from there, the biggest thing as well too that I realized is have the mindset. I think a thing that holds a lot of people back is they fear the unknown. I don't know this. I don't know this skill. I don't know how to present. I don't know these questions. So I don't want to lunge for it. My mentality is this. I purposely love new challenges to happen. And I have this mindset, it's going to get figured out. And I'm going to grow from this. Perfect example. So we're doing this prospecting. And all of a sudden, we talked to this guy. I was prospecting him for the last couple months, followed up. All of a sudden, he's like, James, basically, I joined another network marketing company. I'm like, really? And he's saying, oh, ours pays better than RX's. Ours is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, no, it's not. So let's talk, right? So he sits me down with his upline. He basically kidnaps the upline over here. I kind of felt that. I'm like, this he kidnapped you as a guest, but they all came over.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. They ambushed me with the upline.
Imagine you guys told James, oh, there's a table talk for this guest, but really like that person's trying to get you into their business.
So I was intending on sitting down with my friend to talk about RX, but he brought his upline and one of his downline with him to talk to me about this other company. I'm like, I see what's going on here. I know how this is, And long story short, I know no idea about this company. I don't know anything about. They do Forex currency exchange as a network marketing company. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. They're saying we pay the best comp plan ever. I know the truth. I know it's not true, but I don't know why. Right? And what happens is now I have a problem and I could either just like pull it to the side or I can go figure it out. And what that did? It pushed me out of my comfort zone to go seek for guidance. So I actually ended up talking to Ian Chandler, Fred Cooper, and Tim Sales. People that I would never talk to. I've never texted Tim Sales in my entire life. When you start to go through problems you've never been through before, you're going to find solutions you've never thought of before. You're going to seek for guidance from people that you've never thought before. And what's great is, first of all, I learned so much about our industry. Now I know how to deal with top reps in other companies in a polite way. Basically, if you want to hear the gist of it, this was perfect from Tim Sales, is number one, if there's someone that's really excited about what they're doing instead of trying to fight them and have them join your business, because no one's going to win, right? If you try to convince us all to get out of RX, we would fight against it.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is this, even if you know their company is in a really bad industry. Tim Sales basically said this company, because they're dealing with stocks and things like that, is in a very dangerous position legal wise, because it's a very like risky industry. He said it's kind of like, imagine you lived in front of a cop station and you drove past it every single day. You're asking to be flagged.
Yeah.
You know? So this company actually had already been accused by the government with some illegal activity with their comp plan. They already looked at, so it's like, it's just dangerous, right? Yeah. But regardless of that, what Tim Sales told me was this, and you know Tim, he's like the industry guru. He said, just be friends with them. Just be friends with them. Root them on, you know? Win their heart, basically. Because one day when the company crumbles, they know who to go to. And I'm like, I never thought about that. I was trying to win the argument. I'm like, no, our comp plan's better. And they're like, no, our comp plan's better. It's like, that's not the best way to win. I know? In any relationship at the end of the day, it's not about winning. It's about winning them. Does that make sense? It's a relationship building. So I learned that. And I'm like, dude, if I never went out there and strove and went for that, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. And now I have an opportunity to actually have a conversation, build a relationship with someone like a Tim Sales. I have a conversation with Fred Cooper, you know, a conversation with Ian Chandler. And why do I bring this up? Because anyone here can also have relationships like that as well too. If you're dealing with these types of situations, and those are the only types of people that can deal with that. Oh, I also spoke with Riley Timber this week. You know, we're talking about some product stuff because I am pushing myself to the limit and I'm figuring out solutions as we go. And that was the big takeaway. I'm like, man, that pushed me out of my comfort zone so I could establish these key relationships, you know? And even if I didn't get the sale at the end of the day, we won with that knowledge and that wisdom and that networking. Does that make sense? The process that you go through. And I love that. I'm like, dang, that was freaking cool.
But they still didn't get product.
No.
Because you got so much more. They don't sell the same products.
They're just not in the mood.
No.
They're just not
young,
in the mood.
so
they're young. He's totally not into health. When I first showed him the plan, he was just like the company. He was just like, I don't care about product. Just show me the comp plan. I know, and people think that way, right? So we can't sell them in anything else. That's just how it is.
Wish them well.
Exactly. But we planted the seed, and you know what? Basically, I befriended him. We made a post. Andrew was changing out his Purity air filter. I put that on my story. You know what happened? Is he actually commented on that?
Wow.
You know? And
so you build relationship. Like, I think what we need to focus on is, like, this is something that I had to ask myself. Like, did I do anything different this week than last week? Because if we did the same thing, that means we didn't do anything different. Right? Like, if you didn't have a different question or learn a new skill or had a different, like, challenge in front of you that you needed a solution for, that means we're not growing, right? You might feel like you're doing a lot, but it's like hitting your head on the same wall.
Exactly.
Right? So, like, and what I'm noticing is James was constantly, like, doing new things. Like, he was doing the same things that he knew worked, but he's constantly learning new skills, trying new things, and, like, asking for more questions and, like, thinking of other ideas. But he kept on doing what he already knew worked, right? And these are just, like, added tools, right, in your arsenal. Because I think a lot of times what we end up doing is we get into this, like, autopilot mode, right? Like, yeah, we're talking to 20 people. We've all talked to 20 people before, but we didn't do anything different. You know, like, we didn't, like, change up. Like, just as we're talking, I thought about someone. I was like, I keep trying to just talk to them and have this topic of health come up. I should just ask them if they're interested in losing weight, because she brought it up to me before. She's my one of my primary doctors that I don't know. I only, like, met her once, you know, but I added her on Facebook because when I was, like, visiting her, like, she expressed interest that she wanted to lose weight. But I was just like, how do I approach her? Like, it's kind of weird because, you know, like, I have these thoughts, but I'm like, I should just ask her. And if she says no, she says no, right?
Exactly.
Because I need to do something different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
The good thing is that like you mentioned too, like prospecting. It doesn't hurt to add them on your Facebook or Instagram too. In the meantime, it's just really quick thing to do too.
Yep.
So you get more followers too on social media.
Always be connecting. You're planting seeds. You just never know what's going to happen. You know, we had seeds that we had planted 4 or 5 years ago that finally sprouted this time. It's amazing. Miracle. Another thing I've realized as well too, the plan that you set down, more than likely is not going to be the plan that's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be plan Z. Or a plan that is straight miracle, almost out of nowhere. So as we go out there and that we do that Saturday, so as you do these consistent things, the seeds being planted, you never know what's going to happen. So Becky last Saturday went out there and she did that.
No, it was Tuesday.
Tuesday, went out there.
So remember Tuesday we did this, I think we were all here, right?
Yeah, so Becky hit the challenge, right? We said, talk to 20 people.
Yes.
And she did it. She was focused, right? She's like, oh, I'm just going to handle this, you know? Yep. And ended up going out there and actually chatted with someone. This person, he had been introduced to RX before, but we never did anything together, I know? But we connected. This was years ago. And eventually what happened is he actually left his ring with us, his wedding band.
So he,
you know?
No, he didn't.
This was this year. He went out there. We reapproached him. And we went out there, and he left his wedding band at our house.
In the bathroom.
Yep.
Of the office in Hayward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's just crazy because when I was talking to 20 people, I wasn't thinking I'm going to recruit you or sell you a product. I just wanted to hit my challenge. I just wanted to build relationship with 20 people.
Yep.
And there were people that I like. So there were friends that I haven't talked to for a while that are overseas. Now we're catching up. There's people that I have lunch scheduled with now. There's people that I just kind of followed. With this person, honestly, I was just trying to think about who to talk to, and I read I just messing around with people, and I was like, I don't even know what to say to him because I literally had nothing to say to him, right? So what happened was he joined the business. And he was kind of around, but he was in a really, really bad financial situation. So he was super, super broke, super busy. He was still in the military. His wife was pregnant. It was just a lot of things going on. And then what happened was he just started slowly drift away, but he didn't do anything. He didn't buy any products. He didn't recruit anybody. He didn't sell anything. But he came to the office once or twice, and then he left his wedding ring in the bathroom one time. So James was trying to meet up with him to try to get him back into the business. We figured you have your wedding band, but he never picked it up. I mean, they would talk, but he would always oh, I'm not free, right? So, and this time literally it's been over a year, probably a year and a half. I think it was in the beginning of the year, so at least a year and a half. And I just said, hey, how's it going? I still have your we still have your ring. And then he was and then he just started talking. I was like, how's the daddy how's we just, and before that I never talked to him. It's more so James that was working with him. And then he's like, oh yeah, can I pick it up? And I was like, what are you up to now? He's working graveyard shift. I didn't find out much about it, and I really didn't know anything was gonna happen. And then apparently the next day he's like, oh, can you can James and me I was like, we're going to Bali, it'll be great if you guys met up before that. And I said, you should message him and see when he's free. And literally the next morning, so I'm talking to him Tuesday night, right? Wednesday morning, I responded to his Instagram message saying, you should message him, because we're leaving soon. And then he messages James. It just so happens James was in San Francisco already, nearby where he was. And he just got off his graveyard shift. So he was awake and he was free.
You have the ring?
And they met up. No. So we still have the ring. But they met up, and then he talked to James about how he was really this is such a better time now. He's always thought about RX. And literally when they were talking, his wife knew he was talking to James, and the wife was like, oh, if you're gonna do RX again, I really miss the product. So that was additional confirmation, and he got started with the business plan. When a year and a half ago, it was pulling tooth and nail to get him a membership. And we still have his ring. He hasn't come out yet. but
That is hilarious.
you know, but it just, you never know,
Yeah.
right?
But the wife
But
used the
isn't-
products?
Yeah, so they
How did the wife get on?
yeah,
the
they
products if he
need
never got them?
I think she bought something. They weren't married at the time, but it's just really crazy because I see it as a miracle, right? Like God literally orchestrated everything. Like, what are the odds James is like? Because James was not going to drive all the way to San Francisco just to give him his ring. And like knowing his track record, like we didn't know if it was gonna, you know, and we didn't even invite him technically, right? But it just, you never know, right?
Even crazier. So this guy, he said no because he was literally being deployed to the military. So he's gonna be gone for like 9 months, you know? So we didn't even think about talking to him. But when Becky messaged him, what happened is he had got back, get this, he got out of the military early because he like sprained his ankle or something, he fractured his ankle. So he was able to go out there and get out of the military, which is really, really hard. He said, James, it was an act of God because he had like 5,000 soldiers ahead of him, but he was expedited because he fractured his ankle. And also his wife was having some personal issues back at home. So literally cut that entire line. So that was his way out. So he got back in January of this year, started to go out there, work graveyard with his uncle. And all of a sudden, and even more funny, most recently, his mom just joined Amway and actually was like, you know, being the mom, you as the son need to help out. You know, so he joined her business, but that got up the idea of network marketing again. And he's like, I don't want to do Amway. And it just so happened, literally before he messaged me, I drove past his house 5 minutes before. And I was thinking, I'm like, what? And I didn't even know that Becky had messaged Jonathan. What are the odds? What are the odds? And what that shows me is this: as long as you keep the right track, these miracles will happen. You know, when will they happen? We don't know. That's why it's a miracle. You know, and it's just so funny. Martine, I'll share one more story. Martine and I. So I want to let you guys know, like, our recruits, like, you're gonna get recruits from all different types of people. You know, your end result will be way different from ours, as is everyone here together as well too. But the key is this, okay? It's not about exactly what we did. It's about the mentality behind it and the philosophies and the routines that drive that. You know, Martine came out of nowhere. Martine calls me. Get this. This was what, a couple in Portland. We're out there and we're waking up. You know, and Martine. If you don't know Martine, him and Jordan had started at Morgan Hill together back in the day. We knew Martine when he was 16 years old. I know. This guy was always bright. He had a co-sign with the mom, you know, went out there and he was just a bright young kid. So he got started, but he really never developed anything substantial. We've just held the relationship all throughout the years. He calls me and he's excited. He's like, James, I have a question for you. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm on the way right now to San Diego to go buy a new car. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm about to go buy my dream car, a GTR. And I'm like, wait, what? You know, I'm like, what the hell? It's like, I'm trying to make sure he's making sense of this and everything. And he just wanted to let us know. He was so excited, you know? So he went out there and we built that connection again. And through that connection, he got the car. And he's just been working his ass off at Apple. You know, I think he does security or something like that, like 12-hour days. You know, and he realized, he's like, James, like, as much as this car is cool, like, this life is really painful. You know, and he said this: I've always thought about RX, and because of that, we reconnected. We got him started. You know, and then he led us to some other team. He got a business pack, and then he led to another team that got a business pack as well too. You know, and why do I bring this up? Because as you're going through all these things, you're gonna figure things are gonna start to happen for you. You know, I think it was Muhammad Ali that said, "The harder I work, the luckier I get."
Yeah, true.
You know, which is so true.
So when you're talking to somebody, like, just randomly,
Yeah.
like somebody you call,
Yep.
and you're catching up over
Yep.
time.
Yep.
In that call, do you mention anything about the business, or do you wait and, you know, make it 3 or 4 calls later?
What I like to do, I fill it out. If I feel like there's an opening, then I go for it. You know, if I don't feel like there's an opening yet, then I will connect with them on a deeper level. You know, so at any given moment, when it comes to me prospecting, I have people in like different places of when I can approach or not. And you're gonna get a feel for it. What I mean, what do I look for? Is there a very apparent uplift? You know,
Yeah.
do I have a strong angle into it?
Yeah.
Or do I have a very strong feeling that, let's say I want them in my business, I know they have these attributes about them, and I've thought about why them and why I want them in my team. If I'm recruiting my team, there's specific things that I look for. So if they have what I'm looking for, I will just tell them straight up. Try it all. Just like what Becky said, kind of try them all. Or if you feel like you've just been, like what Becky said, if it isn't taking too long, just throw it out there. Just throw it out there. I know, because if we know that 70% of people at any given time are looking for better opportunity, and you just ask, then it doesn't hurt to ask. And if they say no, that's okay. And you just keep them in the funnel there, and then you continue to move forward as well too. I know. Does that answer your question there? Not yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, sort of. It just happened today. Just randomly, I called a doctor friend of mine.
Oh.
We used to go to church together. And he's into health. We were in health ministry together.
Perfect.
At our other church.
Nice.
And he's retired now too. He's just a little bit older than me. And now he's doing something part-time, so we were just talking. But then he said he had some health issues. And then he was out for like a long period of time. And I said, well, you mentioned. So that was, I thought,
perfect.
You know, again. So I said, that's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm actually, starting my own business and and so, and he says, well, I want to hear a little more. And so then I said, okay. So then I sent him a text message because he had to go. And I sent him a text message and he said, hey, I would like to show you what it's all about. Do you have time for a video conference call tomorrow night? And then he says, is this about a business or something? And I said, oh, no, I'm not. I just wanted to share, some amazing products. And you mentioned your health, and I thought that maybe. And then he goes, oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And I thought, oh, now what?
Was that because you think over text that it got lost? Because there was a conversation.
It's probably just misunderstanding. I'd be like, I just want to clarify. I would ask, I'm a little confused because I remember you mentioned you had these health issues. Right. Is that something you don't want to make progress on?
So whenever you don't understand something, just clarify. Right? Like you just have to ask. Like don't ever, because if we can assume, but we're just guessing, right? So most likely he thinks you're just trying to sell himself or recruit him or whatever. So you just have to clarify. Just be like, hey, I'm not trying to sell, like you don't have to buy anything, but I just feel like I really believe these products can benefit.
Exactly.
Like if you're only asking, like, is it like, do you feel like I'm trying to sell you something? Like, are you or do you want to improve in your health?
Yep.
Like wouldn't it be wise to at least hear about it?
Exactly.
I'm just wondering, did that miscommunication happen because you were talking on the phone and went fine, and then you said you had to go and you text him the rest?
Well, it's not relevant because we can text them because he had to go, so she had to text him. So, like at this point, number one, it's not enough people. It's not enough sample size for us to determine one root cause. So if you did the same thing to 20 people, you're going to get all types of different responses, right? But what I don't like when I'm running a business is I don't like not knowing what's happening. Because if I don't understand why people said no, then I can never improve.
Right.
Because right now you have no idea what you did wrong. Right? Because you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, makes so much sense, right? So if you don't know, then we ask. Right? And then we just clarify. We just ask them, hey, I don't care if you join my business. I don't care if you buy anything. But just for my own personal growth, do you mind if I ask like why you felt that way or why you responded like this?
Exactly.
Like, what are you not interested in?
Exactly.
Bettering your health, making more money if it's like recruiting stuff, right? So you just have to figure out why. Like I think the biggest mistake people make, and this happens to me a lot because I'm naturally like I don't have a thick skin like James, and I don't like rejection, so I like overthink things. And once I got busy, I realized I stopped doing that. And it's saving me so much more pain that I had experienced before. Because not just with prospecting, it would happen with if I had a relationship drama with like a girlfriend or like a roommate or something back in college. I would be constantly thinking about why that happened. I would be replaying things in my mind versus just to talk to them and just ask what's up. you know?
Yep.
And now because I don't have a lot of time, like I just do things a lot faster now. Like I just ask, you know? And like worst case, they don't respond, and I don't really care. I ask so many people talking anyways, you know? So I think a lot of times we spend too much time like analyzing the situation and overthinking, like whether it's like a system issue or a skill issue when it's just not enough sample size yet, you know? But after you do it with a lot of people, you're going to find a pattern.
Yeah.
You're going to realize, oh, when I do it this way, it works better. When I do it that way, it doesn't work as well.
Exactly. So you're going to show him what's up.
Yeah, but I'll just ask him.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay. So you're going to learn these things. And that's what's enjoyable about this process. You're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. You know? So from there, I have a couple tips that I want to go over more specifics and stuff, and also where we need to go from now. Okay. Oh, one more thing I'd say as well too. Daily habit that I have is personal development. Immerse yourself. Immerse yourself. The mind is the number one thing that's going to give out. I know. So I'm surrounding myself. What I've been doing is I download an audio and I kind of listen to that on repeat for the week. You know, something that appeals to me. So I've been personally listening to a lot of Ed Mylett stuff. Just as he does MLM, his stuff's really strong. I love his energy. You know, it's the things he talks about are a lot of things we talk about in training.
Right.
Like today, he made a new video about haters, which is very applicable to network marketing.
Yeah.
You know, and like how to view them. Just know that basically said they can be sincere, but sincerely wrong. He said, take notes off of those that are successful in what it is that you actually want to become successful in, you know, and it's cool. So I'm getting that because I need to make sure I'm constantly filled with the right voices and the right energy. You know, when I'm feeling down, which I obviously will be, I need to get myself back in the zone. And the best way is to work on myself like that.
Yeah.
I know. So what do we need to do from now, right? This gold retreat, this last couple weeks, let's just call it a big learning experience. And what I commend everyone here is for going for it and for not quitting through it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that said they wanted to do something, but they didn't. So the fact that you went out there and actually said, hey, let's be a part of the pioneering group. And everyone here made progress in your business. That's the ultimate thing. Everyone here did so much, you know? Andrew did his first table talk and signed up someone, for example, you know. Lily's going out there, and Pam, both through sickness, going out there and you're cranking through it, you know. Leslie gets her first customer, you know. Eric's going out there doing Nucerity. Like everyone's making progression, and I want you guys to realize that. Because when it comes to hitting a goal and you fall short of it, I know what it feels like. It's not a fun experience, but you got to give yourself more credit than what you give yourself sometimes, you know, because you need it to serve you rather than to take you down. Make sense? Don't be so hard on yourself where you're just like emo. Okay. Remember, like what I mentioned, no one is qualified for this gold retreat yet. So if no one's done it yet, obviously speaking, it's not like a jog around the corner type of thing, you know? This is something that is currently a challenge. It's a Rubik's Cube. That's where I look at it. It's just this puzzle that needs to be solved.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to be one of the first ones to solve it.
That's right.
I just want to have like stick to that plane right there. And if I'm not the first one, it's okay. I want to be faster than what I would expect. Make sense? But going through that, this is what I'd say. Let's take all the reason why I want to gather today. I want to take these experiences and distill it and be able to put a more refined plan moving forward so that you don't have to do what you just did the last 3 weeks. Question. Who here wants your next 3 weeks to be totally different from your last 3 weeks?
All the way qualified by 10 days.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And I feel like there's so much with us. You know, we went through a lot of challenges. Just physically, a lot of sickness went on.
Yeah.
I got sick. Becky got sick. Pam got sick. Lily got sick. You know, a lot of sickness went down. Weather-wise, that was crazy. You know, a lot of stuff are interesting. A lot of stuff. But it's all good. You know, I think we went through the worst of it, honestly. You know, I believe the last 3 weeks was a major test of your seriousness.
Definitely.
That's
because
really
a lot of people are not here because they gave up already.
Exactly.
You know, they're like, oh,
exactly.
1 more week on the clock.
Yep. So big first part of it is just persistent, you know? And I was telling Andrew this, you know, I want to pre-commit to the goal. And that's what you guys are doing. And this is how I look at it. I want it to be fast, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes for as long as possible until the job gets done.
Exactly.
I want to maximize that.
Because we have to get there anyway.
Exactly.
Like, you want to hit your goals, we have to do goal retreats.
Exactly. Yep. So a couple of specifics, okay? First of all, from here on out, where are we going now? Okay? So these are new announcements. No one in the organization knows. I don't think anyone in your report even knows because I'm talking to Duke privately, you know? I just want us to keep on moving forward. So I'm like very impatient with our goals right now. I just want to get it done, you know? And I believe this next one, we're going to have a lot of success. I think we're going to be the team that's going to have the most success. I'm just throwing it out there right now. Okay? I think we're going to be the team that's going to be the ones being interviewed. Courtney's cool, don't get me wrong. You know, our team's going to freaking kill it. All right? And the reason is we're getting a head start right now. Okay? So this is what's been discussed and Duke's going to chat about with the leadership. So this first gold retreat, like what Duke mentioned on Saturday, he already knew it was something new. With anything that's ever been new, it tends to be like this. The first round is a big adjustment phase. But we got to set the standard. Right? You got to set it at some point. And then you go out there, you reconfigure and see what do we need to move forward. Okay? So that being the case, what we're going to do is we're going to change how we're doing gold retreat in a good way. So what do I mean by that? Number one, we as a team can actually choose the dates that we want to go. Okay? So we need to go out there and we're going to choose a Sunday, Monday, which first of all is way better than a Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday
so
thing.
within that 1 week, we get to choose?
No, we're going to pick a date. Yes. We're going to pick a date over a month out.
So gold retreat's going to be team specific.
Team specific. And we get to go out there and basically pick the time and date and even the potential venue. It will be somewhere more SoCal related because Duke has the kids. So he said somewhere an hour and a half radius, but that's just an excuse for a little road trip right there. Which means that we can define our experience. We can make it an epic road trip. You know, I don't want to just do that. I want to let's stuff in as much stuff as possible. You know?
Is there a consensus of Sunday, Monday? Just I can't miss any Sundays.
I can ask. That is what Duke said though, a Sunday, Monday.
For our group or for every group?
He just said the date, but if it doesn't work, then is there a better date for people?
The reason we picked Sunday and Monday is because we don't do business usually. Because Tuesdays, because Saturday we'll have academy. Tuesdays like in the middle of the week. That's why.
Exactly. Unless there's a way to go out there and pick a way and you can fly down on Sunday after your church stuff. For example, because usually it's probably gonna be Sunday night is when we start things, and then Monday we'll do something else. We'll do, you know, because imagine if we drive on Sunday, then if we drive in the morning, we'll probably get there like afternoon, like 3 or something like that. So if you get out of church and you fly, you'll get there pretty much around the same time. You know, exactly.
You just can't miss Sunday, or you can't miss Monday too.
Monday's my but Sunday for sure.
Yep. So what's great is because we can pick the time ourselves, we can pick a time that makes sense for those that are committed. We get to choose it.
I'm so happy about that. Because that week that he had picked, I can't do that week anyway. But I never let that go in the back of my head. Like I'm not going to even try. But I knew in my heart of hearts.
I was really excited. It was that week because of Stephanie's spring break, and I told her, I said, I need to work remotely that week. I won't miss a Sunday. I said, Monday through Friday, I can work remotely. And with Stephanie's spring break, and I said, we're doing college visits, so it wouldn't fit perfectly.
We'll take a look at the times. We'll figure something out.
Why don't you just say, we're doing another college visit?
and the other one, we are actually during Super Saturday, which is April 13th.
We don't know.
We don't know if that's the date. So maybe we could even do when that date is. You know, April 13th weekend or something like that.
Because that is the weekend that Stephanie has a school.
So she does. Oh, so you're not lying. Like it is.
No, it is. Yeah. So we were gonna go to Super Saturday, but she was gonna go to the college.
Oh, I see.
We'll figure it out. We'll get a consensus, and what's great is we get to define it.
We'll just do a poll.
Exactly.
On Facebook.
Let's just qualify first.
Exactly.
Like, let's just get there.
Yep.
That's right.
number
I
one.
like worry about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
All the rest will come.
Yep. So we get to define it. We get to pick the venue.
We'll
we
make
get
sure
to create
everyone
the
can
experience.
make it.
Exactly. You know. So that's a cool thing right there. And also the interesting part is this though, and I think it's going to add extra accountability. All right. So the cost of it, first of all, it's going to go on me and Becky, basically. So we booked the room, you know, and it's a commitment to go. So we pre-book it and we say that we need X amount of people to qualify. And if those amount of people don't qualify, then we don't get the gold retreat. So let's say we say, oh, there's going to be 5 people that qualify, but only 4 do.
Duke won't be
Duke won't be there.
there.
So we can go party yourself.
So we can go, but
Exactly. And that makes it interesting because then there's extra accountability with the team.
So what if you say 4 people will qualify, 5 or
That's
6
better.
people do?
Then we hit
yeah,
it.
we can.
Yep.
But there's also chances that just one qualify and then we still don't go, right? So like
Exactly.
whatever we say,
Exactly.
and it can't be so low of a number where Duke's like you're not even trying, right?
Right.
Yep.
You can't say
You
one.
can't say 2,
Yep.
right? I get
Exactly.
that. And you
Exactly.
guys are accounted as 1. Or
We
you-
don't
Not
count
yet.
towards a number. We don't count towards a
there's a
number.
paying for the
So it's in the team.
Oh.
It's in the team, you know? So with that, that gives extra accountability on multiple angles.
Mhm.
Number one, for us, of course, because we're paying for it. You know, we're like, all right. You know, but number 2, also, I'm sure as a team, you feel like, gosh, like we got to pull together the team.
We have-
You know, something that we're always good at that we didn't have in the previous dynamic was a team reason. You know, I take all the reasons possible. And I think we've already proven in our history, we run really well when we have one focused mission as a team.
Yeah.
You know, we've all done more collectively as if the team is on the line, myself included, right? So if we do it this way, the idea is because there's extra accountability, more skin in the game on every single level, we're all going to treat this even more seriously. I know. So that's going to be an interesting one. And that's why I would ask, if you're committed to this, there needs to be a very serious commitment. If you say, I'm going to be at this retreat, it needs to feel like, and it should regardless of whatever consequences there, but even more so, right? Because there's so much more on the line for everyone. Not only, the money is not the big thing. It's more so, man, it would suck if you were the one teammate that didn't make it and you needed that one more person to be there and no one got the gold retreat, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not a fun experience right there. I know.
And I want you guys to all think about what comes after that,
Mhm.
because this is not just like another VIP event, right? I mean, we shouldn't treat it like that anyway. So even with VIP event, like every single one matters.
Yep.
But I think sometimes we've been in the business for so long and we're like jaded, you know? But Gold Retreat is such a big deal because if you guys remember, the vision Duke painted was this Gold Retreat that you experience will be what's going to carry on for the next generation.
Exactly.
Because you're going to come back and share this experience.
Yep.
And what you're going to get out of it is like how to tell your story. Like you're going to feel so much more confident. And by then you should have a team to work with that you can like share that story confidently with them to inspire them.
Yep.
And being able to help them make that $300, $500 a week.
Yep.
And the next Gold Retreat, your people should be there,
Exactly.
right? So I want you guys to know how big of a deal this first one is because it will really propel your future business.
It's a big deal. This the one? What's up?
So is there still going to be the 2 different ones? Like the new
I'm not sure. It seems like there's just gonna be a team specific
Yeah.
one.
So instead of like separating OG and new people, I think Duke's just gonna do like Bern, Cheryl, Casey, and then us.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a good one.
So I have a lot. So I'm really excited about this. And then I know like for the Gold Retreat, it's the 500 in PB,
Yep.
and then it's the 4 reps, and the reps have to be 200 PB each. And then I also have to go title, so that 13,334.
No.
That's for Arc's difference.
You're talking about Arc's difference.
You don't need that title.
You don't need to hit title.
Oh.
Arc's difference is vice president.
Yeah.
But that's later.
Right.
This one's gold retreat. They're
I
two
know.
separate things.
Okay, but in my brain, if I do this now, then I've already done the other. Like I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone.
That's wise.
Okay, so
That's wise.
So in my brain, I'm putting it with this one. But that 13,334
It's
is
three.
going-
It's 3,000 for vice president. That's what we need
3,000.
3,000 for payment.
for Payline volume.
3,000, not
No,
not 3,334.
no, it's vice president minimum for Arc's difference.
Okay. So good, that's even better. But
Mhm.
my whole question was.
What was the 2,000? Is that for these
Director.
people?
That's for people that are director and below title.
Okay, so that is my whole team. So even
Correct.
if the 4 reps came on with 200 apiece,
Uh-huh.
but we got them all started and up to like business
Mm-hmm.
each.
And a little bit more. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is our
So the
extended
team.
deadline?
So the extended deadline. Good question.
That's my
So we're all going out there. We're gonna start from scratch again. Okay. And it's gonna be a 4 weeks qualifier. And the idea behind it, it's kind of like Gold Director, how that was. You know, you pick your 4 weeks and then you get that done. If it's not done, then you have to restart again. So that'll be the future precedent for all the ones in the future going on.
Yeah,
So now we're back to
Zero.
scratch on our.
So now now I know there's teammates here. You've done some work already for that.
Yeah.
I know. And the way I feel about it is that why not go out there? Because everyone here, I believe, compared to 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, is in more growth than you were 3 weeks ago. You know, you are in a better mental state.
Yeah.
You're a lot more committed. You're a lot more excited, and you've learned a lot.
Mhm.
I know. And it's good. You should get paid and you should get all those things. And that just lends more confidence to you, you know?
Growing.
Exactly. But this is what I feel. This is now, it's kind of like you had a practice shot
Right.
and take this next one and make it like make it a time attack. Like make this look really good. Use this as an opportunity for your future teammates. You got to put yourself in the future. When, like what Becky said, when you come back and you talk to your teammates, you're going to have a similar conversation like this. You're like, this is what I experienced. This is how I did it. Let's go do it together. And you want to be able to tell them, I did it in record time. I did it, and it was like such an amazing experience there. Let's get you guys on board. If you do this faster, who knows? What if you had a teammate that was so fired up by your example that you were able to sneak them into the gold retreat as well too? I'm telling you this, I don't know if that'll happen for this one or the next one. That's bound to happen eventually. There will be people that just come on board and they're so excited, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Can you imagine 2 reps like that fired up?
Yeah.
Vice president is simple.
Yeah.
You know, how do you get the bigger titles done?
Mhm.
You set an example and a high standard for you that when your new reps come in, they just rise to that occasion. You know,
Makes sense.
and you have like 5 of those. You put all those points together, you hit vice president of these titles by default.
Right.
Another thing I noticed honestly as well too, we all want to get paid.
Yeah.
I noticed the paycheck that we've been getting, it's not ginormous crazy, but it's growing at a very good pace. And it's growing at a pace where it's like, wow, it's like, I'm not even looking at the paycheck, but it's starting to grow. Because the team now is starting to compound. And our business has not even hit a momentum phase at all. But I give it another couple weeks. I'm curious to see what that happens. If you look at all the new teammates that came this last week, give it another week, give it another 2 weeks. Imagine when they all get their Sunrise transformations and they all get faster trained and all this stuff. Like, you can imagine where your business could be with just a couple cycles of that. You know? So it's really cool to see that this is really starting to work. Okay? So we're starting this 4 weeks starting now. So technically we're already like 2 days in. So we have like 3 weeks and 5 days, but that's still more than enough time.
So we started on Saturday.
We started on Saturday. So anything that was done this week,
3
yes, correct.
All right.
All right,
I'm good with that.
perfect. We'll decide on the venue time and we'll figure out those details and I'll let you guys.
My birthday weekend,
Oh.
When is that?
April 13th.
Well, that's the same. So I just heard you say that the Super Saturday's not locked.
We're still locking in the time because Duke is still like basically everything date-wise right now is still up in the air. Still up in the air after readjusting from these last couple weeks. So just kind of seeing where the team is at. Maybe that could be the weekend.
So
Maybe.
we do Saturday, Super Saturday, and then Sunday.
No, it wouldn't be a Super Saturday. We're not having a Super Saturday. It's not locked in right now. So instead of a Super Saturday, maybe we could do that Sunday, Monday. You know, is anyone opposed to the 14th, 15th? That weekend? Maybe we'll do that. You know, it sounds like that's good. Maybe we'll just. I can propose that.
Well, I mean, even if it is Saturday, Super Saturday, it doesn't matter because we're doing it
regardless.
Sunday, Monday.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
down there. It might be a good thing to all.
We could do that. You guys down for that?
Birthday, Super Saturday.
If you guys are down for it, I mean, ultimately, you guys
Is
have the
that 4
commitment.
weeks out?
That would be exactly 4 weeks out, right? If this were, yeah, I think so. Let's look at the
So
calendar.
pay period 11.
We're in pay period 11 right now. So that'd be pay period.
That'll be 5 weeks actually.
It's 5
So
weeks.
it's this week, next week, the week after, and then the first week of April.
Oh,
So
perfect.
April 5th is the deadline.
Oh,
And then the week after is April
Good.
14th.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. That gives us some good time. Perfect.
It's a Sunday.
Okay, it's decided then.
Yeah.
It is decided. You know,
Is everyone good?
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
want to-
I will propose that then.
Because I was gonna be in SoCal anyways for Super Saturdays.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, there we go. I like it. Sweet. I like how we're doing things so fast.
We have to do it fast.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I'll propose that. I'll get confirmation of that from Duke. If we're the first one to book it, then I'm sure we get first dibs on dates and stuff. Get that done. Okay.
Could it be Palm Springs?
Yeah, we can still do Palm Springs. You guys down for Palm Springs? I'm down for Palm Springs.
This is a very.
We'll do Palm Springs. Sounds good.
Never heard of
We did. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, perfect. So we got that going on. All right. So a couple things that I want to do to help out. Okay. Because of course we're going to be gone the next couple weeks, but I'm in a mode right now. Of course we're going to enjoy it, right? We're going to love our stuff, but I want to work, you know, and I think it's perfect timing right now because the way that you're going to get this done is to learn the disciplines and the habits to keep yourself self-accountable and to get these standards down.
Right.
You know, and after going through these last couple weeks, I want to build a couple tools to help you guys to be able to keep on track even easier.
Mm-hmm.
Extra accountability increases your results by 30%. You know, so I'll take it. I liked Andrew's feedback. Andrew's feedback to Leslie, the qualifications are the same as before, which is 500 points of retail and 4 personally sponsored reps in the next 4 weeks, including this week. And being an ultimate.
200 points for her.
And 200.
Because she's already at ultimate.
And 200 points. What do you mean?
I mean 2,000 points on Payline.
2,000 points on Payline.
Yeah.
Is that it as well too? You have to. I think that's if you're director and above, you have to 2,000 points, right?
If you're director and
And
below,
below. Oh,
you'll
2,000
have to do 2,000 points Payline volume.
Ah, perfect.
If you're older than 30 days.
Got it.
But
Oh,
she's
she's old.
technically not, but she's already at ultimate, so like
Clarify
that's
that.
not one of the qualifiers.
Well, she is.
She's not. Actually, you know what? I think she just needs to because she's already ultimate.
Mm,
So if she's still within the 30 days,
mm-hmm. So
then
she's
she
good.
could do, yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. So Leslie, you just need 4 personally sponsored reps at 200 points and to do 500 PV of retail. And that's it. Cool. Sweet. Palm Springs it is. Rolling down in style right there. Okay.
So for
So-
all of us, it's 3,000 K-line, 4 reps at 200 points, and 500 points retail.
No, that's perfect.
I think it's different, right?
2,000 points for
Huh?
Eric and
Give me
Andrew.
2,000 points.
Yeah, 2,000 points for Eric and Andrew. So we got to go director. Go get you some shoes.
And 3,000, but they're cumulative. So you don't even need
yeah.
to do it all, but we should.
Might as well go.
But
Okay, you're confusing me.
if
What
you're
you're saying is,
saying
I mean, I don't know what the word means.
So you can do 2,000 points within those 4 weeks.
That doesn't count TLB.
It does.
It does.
Everything on your Payline
Yeah.
volume. So if you look at your dashboard, your Payline volume on the lower right-hand corner is your Payline volume for the week. And you add up the
And
4
TLB
weeks.
separately?
No.
But
Base, it's separate from
part of
base, but it's all Payline volume.
Yeah.
So just think about it this way. Volume in your tree, regardless of how it pays you, as long as it's on your Payline, is Payline volume.
So TLB is down. Oh,
TLB, if you sponsored someone, isn't a rep in your line. Let's say you sponsored a rep and you put them in your
but
line.
if you're
Isn't that
not
in your line?
so if you're at 0, if you have no power line or Payline, you
Correct.
enroll somebody, and then it gets
Then that's not Payline volume.
Yeah. So but the TLB gets reset to 0 because you're
Correct.
paid out.
Yep.
So then
But it's cumulative.
it's still 0.
Correct.
Exactly.
So that doesn't count as pay line
And it
volume.
won't show. You'll see it on your dashboard.
Right.
So how does he get to 2,000?
So the only way to do
You
it
need 2
is
lines.
You build 2
You
lines.
build 2 lines. You build your power and your pay.
of not my own reps.
And then you tap root that power and pay. Or you sponsor 2. If you sponsor 2 business packs, 1 on line 1, 1 line 2,
That's fine.
for that week, that's 500 points of pay line volume. But then it flushes. Like
But
what
I'll
you
try
said.
to put them on one side.
It depends.
You might not be able to.
It
do that
depends.
for
Get 2
some-
different markets.
Yeah.
I'd build 2 lines at the same time. Honestly, power your shoes. I'm building 2 lines right now. 2 separate lines. I'm sponsoring, actually 3 lines. I split my sponsors over 3 lines. You know, I'm just grouping different groups together. So I build 2 different markets on 2 different lines at the same time. Have them race each other. So let's say you're going gold, right? You get 4 people. Why not just split them? Depend on the market. So tap it into 2 separate ones.
Because you want to pay
Okay,
them.
so so that I understand.
Yes.
So so if we're enrolling them and they're only like doing like the $35 or like maybe a couple products, then we're doing the sample party. Those retail customers, is that going towards TLB or is that going towards volume that's going to be in that?
It is volume, but it pays you in
as
team
TLB.
bonus.
So it still would give reset.
Yes, at the end of that week.
And it will still give him retail, right?
The retail.
The rep to reset.
Mhm.
So what's
It's the-
nice,
it's the
even though
resetting
even though it
part.
resets,
So honestly
you're
speaking,
adding
I wouldn't
content.
worry too much about the pay line. That I wouldn't get tripped up about that.
'Cause it
If
all-
you're building, if just focus on, I'm going to tell you exactly what to focus on. The volume will
And
come.
even the both do.
Don't worry about that. I'm telling you, don't even worry about that. You're tripping yourself up about things that aren't going to matter because the volume will fill in as you get your 4 reps. Those reps, as you split them, and we'll talk about when you get them on board. As we work with the reps, we fast search them and everything. It's not hard to get 500 points a week as you start getting reps on board. Just think if your average rep can bring 500 points in themselves, then boom, you're going to be totally okay. I know. But what I would say is this: if I were in your shoes, I would be extra intense with getting my 4 people on board ASAP, so that I can look at where my business is at.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So it's a very strong time attack, you know, because starting from scratch, yes, you have to build 2 lines, and that's just an even more fun challenge. So the way I would look at it, and this is what I was telling Andrew as well too, any one of us, regardless of where business is in right now, I just assume it should always be, let me not aim for the minimum, let me aim to maximize my business. Let me aim to maximize myself. This is the minimum number, but let me crush it. Like that's the mentality going into it. The way I look at that, honestly, is we got to shift the attitude on that. You're looking at this right now, Eric, with a lot of fear. I look at it, honestly, you know how I feel about orange shoes? I'm freaking crush that, man. I want to get paid way more than that, you know? The way I look at that pay line volume, regardless if it's TLB or whatever, you know, I think I'm going to get my team on board and get them paid so fast, so quick, that they're going to be so excited this team's just going to explode and my stuff's going to be done by default.
Right.
That's how my mentality would be on it. I know. And that's how I see it in my tree right now. You know, I have teammates now getting business packs and they're getting other stuff as well too. Like they're recruiting business packs now. And it's because my goals are so much higher and my expectations are so much higher where I'm like, that's just bound to happen right there. So I wouldn't worry about the minor stuff. Just worry about the major stuff, which is right now, set your standard. Is your standard so high and your pace so fast that your teammates, just by seeing your example, adopt that and they just want to run? You know? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's the way I view it. And I hope you understand. I hope you agree because I'm just telling you exactly what I do and why I'm not tripping out, even if I'm in the same position on that. Like that is not supposed to be the hardest part of it. The hardest part is recruiting the 4 reps right now.
Yeah.
If it's hard, we'll talk about it later.
See, that part is not like that part doesn't bother me. It's just the resetting part.
Let's get the 4 reps first to talk about it.
Yeah, this
What's
is
the resetting part?
like one team lead bonus.
So it gets paid out. Yeah.
But it doesn't
Honestly
matter, like you
speaking,
said,
I
sometimes
would
you
not.
just add it up.
I would not be concerned about that. Question: how fast can you get 4 reps?
That's
How fast do you want to get 4 reps?
Let's say it's 2 weeks.
I want to get it like.
What do you want to commit to?
That's a real question.
9 days.
You sure?
Wow,
You sure?
vague.
You absolutely sure? Like you're kicked out of your house or you don't get that.
Oh, really cut your hair.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, not gonna let that settle.
No.
11 days.
What's that?
11 days?
For what?
So basically by the end of next week. Is that
If
everything?
she's committing, I don't know if she's
That's 11
committing.
days. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 11 days.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
We're
So you're
just-
committed to
I
that.
don't- Yeah, I don't,
Absolutely
I don't know
over your
if
dead
she's-
body. That means 4
I don't
activated
know if she's
reps.
ready right now.
Can I talk to her too? Or do you
Of course.
want to talk?
I think James is
Yeah.
gonna talk to her.
Activated.
But
To
you
the
guys
point.
are the first
Mhm.
people to hear about it.
That's done.
2 weeks.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. So if that's the case, are you telling me that 2 weeks later, could we taproot those 4 people into their market?
Yeah.
And within that, can't we generate 2,000 volume?
Yeah.
You can do
You'll
it.
be fine.
Yeah, because our goals are way bigger.
You'll be fine.
You know, like you need them to generate volume
Hmm.
because you have income goals, right?
We got a challenge going on.
Yeah. So
We got a
it's
challenge
kinda-
going. You
So
crush
it's gonna
that.
be by default. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like if you think that way, you won't be like, how am I gonna do this? Because then what happens when we think about how I'm gonna hit that goal is we
Mhm.
always fall short.
Yep.
But if we're thinking of a way bigger goal and a shorter deadline, we're going to end up with like so
Yep.
much more.
I'll give you an example, right? Right now, I'm getting obsessed about senior officer. Like now that I'm wrapping up Gold Retreat, my next goal is senior officer, honestly. I'm getting really obsessed by that. And you know how I look at that? Because seemingly like it looks like it's a bigger number right now. This is what I know. Let me focus on these small things first and just whirlwind this up like crazy because I know that momentum is going to carry me forward. When I look at a senior officer or any bigger achievement is a wave of smaller achievements together. When I look at it, I break it down like this. I need an army of people getting small wins.
Yeah.
I need an army of people, me helping them make that extra $500 a month.
Yeah.
And the faster I can do that, because it's a time attack as well too, and it's starting with here, right? And then I'm going to trickle that down. That's why I'm in such a rush to get everything down. We're about to board a plane in like, around 12 hours or something like that, But
If
we
the
are,
time changes,
if the
you
time
haven't
doesn't change.
confirmed.
Exactly.
But they're like,
But the mindset that I have on a similar goal, because my senior officer is similar to your Gold Retreat. And my senior officer, I want to have a similar deadline as this Gold Retreat. I know. So that being the case, the way I look at it is let me focus on what I need to do right now really fast. And I know it's going to be a wave of big small wins. And I just know the small wins is going to add up and it's going to get it done. So really senior officer is how quick can I accumulate those small wins? Is a time attack. Because I know it's going to get done. It's just when can it be done by the deadline? And that means I need to get my team on board ASAP so I can work with them ASAP. And I need a lot of them to work with because I don't know who's going to run or who's not going to run. So for me, I play on the side of caution and I over recruit, I over commit, I overdo everything, especially if it's the first time you're going for something.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake people do is they underestimate what is required and then they fall short. I want to overestimate what's required, so just in case. And then you can always make it efficient. Right now, this is my mindset on things. I'm down to work as much as I need to get the job done. And then after, make it pretty. Right? The first time you go out there and drive a car, you ain't looking that pretty. But then the second time, third time, 100th time, you look really good. So the first time you're doing this type of a challenge, because it's a new thing, I would just be, it's good that you're being extra cautious, but the way my strategy would be overcommit. Does that make sense? You can always go out there. Jim Rohn said, right? You make up in numbers what you're lacking skill. That's how I feel right now about like how many teammates I need to help accumulate these small wins. I don't know an exact number yet, but let me test it out in my business. Week by week.
Yeah, it's like when we first launched Gold Retreat. I don't know if you guys remember, but James was saying, I'm going to qualify for Gold Retreat this week. So that was his goal. Like he was talking about it week after week. Like every week he's like, I'm going to do it this week, because his mind really treated the deadline like this week.
As soon as possible.
And then that week was the week he started talking to 20 people a day. And at the end of the week, I don't know if you guys remember, in that conversation, in that training, we didn't really get any enrollments. Like we got one retail sales, and we didn't get any personal sponsor. And so we're like super behind, right? And like the way he felt was like, we'll just keep going. It's going to be this week. And you keep doing that, and that's when like it started paying off, you know. But if we're like, oh, I have 4 weeks to do it, let me pace myself, you know. Like if we need 4 people, we need to invite 8. Let's talk to 20 people over 4 weeks. Then it's like just not gonna happen.
Yep. Exactly.
So do you need help with your reps while you're gone? Like, what's the plan?
That's exactly what I'm about to talk about.
Oh,
perfect. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're committed.
Yes.
Let's talk about how we're gonna do it.
Exactly. So that's the first part.
Yeah.
You know. So question: is everyone here committed for Gold Retreat?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So I'll run those by Duke and everything. So now how we're gonna do it, and how can we make it easier? I'd rather do less work, you know, or I'd rather be more efficient and do the same amount of work that I would have done before. That's honestly how I do it, you know. So a couple things I want to do. First is I want to do a customer campaign. Okay, so let me throw this idea by you guys. All right. You guys have all worked with Slenderx customers. Have you ever dealt with issues with keeping your people accountable? Or they're not reporting to you what they're eating? Or maybe they're just not letting you know how much they weigh? Or you ask them, did you weigh yourself? They're like, no, I didn't. You know, and then the issue, did you take your pictures, you know? Or maybe there's just so many of them, you lose track because it's hard to organize. And you're like, oh my God, no one's getting the results. Because we all know Slenderize works, but it does require some habits to be taught. I know. So this group that I want to put together is going to be a group with the idea of potentially maybe this becoming maybe an application, like an app. Can you imagine like a phone app or something? This is the idea, okay? Now, don't expect this to be anytime soon, but I would love to have it. How nice would it be? Pam, let's say I'm your customer. And I have an app, and I go out there, and on my app, I track my weight every single day. I take photos, and it uploads to this of myself. I take photos of my food every single day. I can document my exercise, my water, everything like that. And you as the coach can actually go out there and access my data so you can look at it lifetime. I imagine, I don't know if this was true or not, what I heard in the nursing world is fairly recently they went to more like electronic type of documents versus paper stuff, you know? Did that make things a lot more efficient in terms of pulling out reports and stuff?
In the long run. In the beginning, the learning curve was
like this. Right.
And people had to get used to it.
Makes sense.
A lot of issues.
Oh yeah, those are intense reports. This is just way simpler stuff. You know, but can you imagine how easy that would be? How you can literally track from your phone. Like imagine you have 10 customers, you have a live profile on each person.
You don't have to remember what weight did they start with.
Exactly. It tracks everything. Can you imagine there's a graph of everyone's weight? You can see exactly when everyone's been eating every single day, you know, and this way it's a lot easier for you to keep them accountable. You know, I believe that will lead to more consistent results. You know, us. Like we would create something like that, you know. So actually, I was talking about to Robert yesterday, and he actually said he has a teammate that already had that idea, and he has a partially made app or something like that. He has a bare bones to it. So we'll see. Okay. Regardless of the app or not, there's a certain flow of things that we've seen that really work well to help give consistent results. Okay, Slenderx results. For example, like there needs to be a goal weight, there needs to be pictures taken, there needs to be, I do like macronutrition calculation. I do like planning out your meals so people know what to expect. Water intake, right?
Sticking to the approved food list.
All these things are very important to have, that as someone not just using the product, but as someone coaching other people through it, it'll give you a good system that you can reference to so that your future customers have really good results. Okay. So I want to start this group, as I mentioned, on Saturday, and I've started ASAP. And strategically right now, and why are we doing this? Well, first of all, who here wants to have more retail customers?
Yes.
The best way to get retail customers is to live life, transform yourself, and to market yourself wisely. And I'll teach that as well too, with social media, your lifestyle, your day-to-day.
Yeah.
I know. The best way to get customers is just living like that. All right. Also in this campaign group, I want to actually teach you guys how to make some very simple social media marketing things that we've done in the past and seen people do that will give you very easy things. Like, can you imagine? I'm like, do one story a day on your Instagram that just showcases you taking a product. And maybe once a week, share an update on your transformation. Oh, one more thing that I want to do, and this is what Chi Chi did back in the day in China. She's one of the top money earners, makes over $1 million a year there, right? Is if you want to have more prospects, one thing they did is they had an accountability group. So in the beginning, imagine you get on board, talk to 4 non-customers and ask them, non-reps too, ask them, imagine Pam, you're my friend, right? And I'm going in this program. I'm Pam, I was wondering if you help me out. I'm joining this fat loss contest and I just needed a couple of friends to keep me accountable with my journey. Can you watch over me and check in with me maybe every couple of days? I know. And imagine we check in every couple of days. And your simple job as the friend is like, hey, how are you doing? You can imagine like, man, I failed. I only lost like 2 pounds this last 5 days. You're like, 2 pounds in 5 days. That's
good.
Right? You're like, okay. And can you imagine after the second week, I'm like, I lost 10 pounds. You as the friend that's keeping me accountable, wouldn't there come a time where eventually you'd be like, oh, what are you using?
So you're using an accountability partner that's not in the business.
Correct. Yep. Your goal is to reach out to people that you've never talked to before. Yep, exactly. You know how easy it is. Can I tell you how easy it is to get 500 PV of retail volume? You have 4 people that get on a SlenderX and a StoreX. You hit 500 points.
Yeah.
So imagine you had 4 accountability partners, and they all watch it. And pick them wisely, meaning probably they're little. Don't pick the skinny ones. Pick the ones that you feel could benefit. It's kind of an indirect way, But after a couple of weeks, and that's just with those accountability partners, that's not even talking about all the people that you could potentially market to. Right. 4 customers, can we all agree, like if you give it a couple of weeks and you're focused on it, to find 4 people where, number one, timing wise, aren't we before spring right now? Spring break is 3 to 4 weeks from now. For most schools, beginning of April is when they start. This is actually a really good time. Sun is out now. People are starting to think, and I actually saw a post today from other things of people saying, hey, go get your spring body going. Like the campaigns are starting to roll out right now. So if we have the right timing with this customer campaign where you go through your transformation, you could attract people more easily along the process to very easily. I don't think the retail, honestly, is going to be the hard thing for anyone here if you follow this correctly. Okay.
So 4 customers with just SlenderX and a store.
That's it.
Points.
That's 500 points. Wow. Now they're going to have to be new customers because of their old customers. You're probably going to have to charge them the 30% discount.
Right.
But we all want new customers. Right. And that's going to be great. You'll make an extra $300, $400 just from that. Okay. Actually, yeah. What, you made $150 or something like that?
I made 130.
130. So 4 of those.
For one. No, it was 275 points.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm saying one SlenderX or StoreX, I think we made like what? It's what? $85. So times 4, 350.
350, yeah.
350. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. And that's assuming you just hit the bare minimum, and you only sell SlenderX or StoreX, right? But that's a very reasonable expectation.
Right.
Okay. So that's one thing that I want to do with this group, and I'm even.
Are you done about how we're gonna do it?
No,
we
not
don't
yet.
have an app.
What was this
Because
one?
we don't have the app.
Oh yeah, yes. And then Becky actually, she made a Facebook group. So we're gonna have a SlenderX accountability group.
So instead of because we don't have the app, right? It takes a long time to build an app, and we don't want to spend time doing that. unless someone's like really interested in app building. But what we're gonna do right now is because our goal is to help our representatives, because we already know our business is going to grow. What we need is to help, number one, help you guys, teach you guys how to market on social media and be able to get those retail customers. And two, teach our new generation that's on SlenderX how to actually do it. Because you all know how to do it, but the newer generation don't know how to get amazing stories. Like we've all lost like more than 20 pounds, you know? But our new generation are on the product, like straight up, we just don't have enough time to keep them accountable. And they're not getting as quick, like as good results as they should, and that's slowing down their business.
It is.
Because they don't have their 10-day story, they don't have their 5-day story and their 2-week story. Like, you know, 3 weeks into SlenderX, they lost 0 pounds, and that's not okay, you know, because that they're gonna hit a wall in customers, right? So what we're gonna do is in this Facebook group, we're going to just add people and add reps, so not like customers. So your customers, you keep on taking care of them, but for the reps that's in this group, and also they have to say they're committed on this journey, right? Because we're not going to force someone that's not willing to commit, because it just pulls down the culture, right? It's kind of like if you said you're going to post your story a day, or give updates on your food, and you're not doing it, everybody else is going to slowly not do it, and it's just really going to ruin the culture, you know? So what we're gonna do is pick those people, and that group are the people that's gonna get amazing results, not only themselves personally, but they're also going to learn how to market to their social media and just in general, and then they're going to learn how to help their people beyond SlenderX as well. So how I'm thinking of doing it is, and open for feedback, is we're going to post like on a daily basis. We're going to make a main post about what you ate today. And by the end of the day, you have to post pictures of your food in the comments. Everything you ate in the food. And there's going to be like updates on maybe like every 5 days, updates on your goal, like on your weight. Like this is how much weight I lost this week. This is how much weight I lost, right? And in between or gain. And then so like based on your goal, right? And then every day we're going to have like people need to post, we're still thinking a little bit more of it, but I think you need at least one story a day, like at least, because if we're gonna like get more exposure, like one isn't minimal, you know, but just to get the practice, right? Like I've made posts before where I'm like, oh, I could use that later, you know? So get into the habit of doing that.
Facebook group?
Just for
this group specifically, this SlenderX group.
So for people that are like doing SlenderX right now.
So we're really not going to get retail customers because we're just sharing about us.
No. The posts are on your public.
On your story is public. Story is public.
Oh, okay. I thought we were posting the story within the store.
Oh, no.
But the food is within the group is to keep you accountable, to make sure you're actually losing weight and you're getting results. And it's also helping everybody else. Because if you're posting your food, everyone's like, oh, I should post my food too. And if they messed up, that's okay, right? We're not going to crucify anybody if they like cheat for a day, right? But it's kind of like when me and Andrew and Hannah and Gretchen were in our SlenderX competition, just the 4 of us, like keeping each other updated every single day on weight really helped us. Like there were days that I was like, I already lost like 7 pounds. Like I'm okay, you know? But I kept going because everybody else was like, you know, giving good results. So this SlenderX Facebook group is going to do that for everyone that's on SlenderX. And it serves multiple purposes. So 1 is going to teach the new people how to use SlenderX. 2, it's going to help everybody get amazing results. And 3, it's going to really help us help you like learn how to market on Facebook, on social media, so you can actually get customers or get retail customers. So that's kind of like the idea that we're thinking about doing.
But the tips on how to post their story is to be where in this group.
We're doing the group too.
So you guys will be putting tips. Hey, this is what you can do.
And it's just an idea. Like, we're not gonna make everybody post the same thing, right? Like, we're all on our own option, but we can give you an idea. Like today, post a picture of the product you used, and you can do anything. It could be your supplement, it could be restore, it could be purity. It doesn't have to be Suncrest, right? Like anything you're using, and then you just get creative. And that's honestly an accountability tool. Like, I have to keep myself accountable on social media posts, because when I get busy, I don't do it. And then I literally, again, I schedule things in my calendar, like, and I literally write social media. Like, I have to spend this much time, and I have to make as many stories as possible, so it lasts 24 hours. So it's keeping me accountable, because I'm keeping myself accountable. But in this group, we're going to keep everybody accountable. So no one's gonna, like, you're just gonna have to like force yourself to learn to do it, and you get creative. You know?
And we'll be there, coach you guys will too. So it's great as we see your meals and everything. We also want to calculate your macros and do all that stuff, so you can see what we do and then get your next phase of your transformation as well. Okay. So one other thing that I would love to do. So any questions first on that?
Yeah. Who's the guru on IG? Like,
Becky's pretty good.
Yeah,
Becky's pretty good.
She's not gonna do it.
Well, we're gonna show you.
Everybody knows how to post. Everybody here needs to go. Like, they don't have to be. Yeah, like, I don't.
They don't have to be fancy things. It's just exposure.
Like, everybody here knows how to do it, so anybody can help you.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we all know how to post, so we can just teach you how to post it. And how to like do certain.
Goals to get the habit down. That'll be good.
And just play around with it. Like, I found new things.
Exactly.
I added music today. To my post.
Did you say music?
Huh? No, it's from Instagram. Oh, Instagram purchased it.
Well, even like you put like wording and flashing and stuff.
You just click on different things and see what they do.
Experiment.
Yeah,
Have
I
fun.
mean, like, have you clicked? If you see a phase and don't know what it does, click on it. And it's going to pop up a lot of emoticons. And if there's a search bar, type on it and see what pops up. That's really, honestly, just like, you just explore.
There's no right or wrong way to post. It's just exposure. So don't be too overly
They only last 24 hours. So if you like said something wrong,
so at least one a day, and we'll kind of give some guidelines on that. But the goal, like Rebecca says, just get into the habit. Just expose yourself. That's just another means to go out there and attract some more market. I know. Now, one thing in this group. So first question is, are you guys personally down to be a part of a Slimmers group like that?
Yep.
That benefits you. Okay, cool. So we want to go out there, and we're going to incorporate some other teammates in there as well too. These must be active teammates. You know, we don't want, this one's not meant for customers. What was that?
When does it start?
Tomorrow. We need to start now, basically. So the goal tomorrow for Tuesday is to take pictures. Now, if you can't make tomorrow, just the goal is to put in pictures by tomorrow. This way we can just start it out. So this way everything will align like 4 weeks. You know? What was that?
Robert's gonna take
No. Tomorrow will be before pictures.
So we're all meeting at a certain.
So we'll meet tomorrow at the house for those that can make it here. I'd recommend to do it before training starts, honestly. So I'd probably do like a 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m.
So there's a training that is about.
Training, I'm going to pre-record it, and then we'll play it up here. So I still want to do a consistent Tuesday, and I want to be able to go out there. Yeah, and Eric has our key right now, so Eric.
Did you say Robert's gonna do photos?
Robert's going to do photos as well too. I need to confirm again.
Is he helping with photos? He's just
going to take them right now. I didn't ask anyone to help yet.
He's taking it himself.
Yes.
Do we have to do all 6 of those?
I would do all 6 of the poses.
You never know which pose might be.
Yes.
Your best.
Exactly.
You
Are we
look
doing
great,
with
man.
paper and all that?
Yes, we're going to do the whole 9 yards.
So will somebody have a newspaper? Like, who's responsible for bringing the
I'll
newspaper?
bring
There we go. Eric's got it. Perfect. That'll be perfect. I know. From there, what we'll do as well. Gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I think we're all like competition. So I want to propose this. All right. Simple competition. I think we should have a grand prize winner at the end of the day for a competition like this. You know what's cool as well too? If we're going to Palm Springs, I wonder if the weather would be good enough by then where we'll be able to have like a pool or something like that.
Sure.
We're going on.
Our April time. Be nice spring weather over there.
We're going
You know?
on like You guys just pick the best results.
For SlenderX, we're gonna pick the best transfer, the same rating scale as we normally use for any SlenderX competition.
Like the best marketing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like if so, the one we're gonna be like, I'm gonna use this in my arsenal for my customers.
Exactly. Yeah. So I haven't thought that far, but first the idea of a competition comes to mind, and I don't want it to be anything extravagant, but more of like a buddy type of accountability type of thing. Have you ever gone out there and you were like placing bets on something together, you know? And you like, remember Duke would give stories on where they would go cold marketing? And it's like, let's put like, you know, $10 in the pool, $20 in the pool or something like that, you know? What if everyone would put $20 in the pool, something that's not crazy like that, but winner takes all? Just something to keep extra accountability, you know? It's a quick contest, something where it's just like, hey man, we're committed just a little bit more. And it's more like a friendly competition like that, you know? Just because this isn't like a big contest or anything, so there isn't the funds for that. You know, we're opening this just for this group, but that would be up to you guys if you feel that makes sense or not. That was just a thought I had. If you feel it'll help you make it even more fun, then that's an idea. If not, then we don't have to do that. But what do you guys think about that?
This is good motivation, yeah.
Okay.
And what is the time period? Is it 4 weeks? Or?
4 weeks.
So tomorrow starts off with our loading phase day, or we
tomorrow will be the before pictures. So today you can load up a little bit more if you want.
Yeah, but we didn't take the drops. So you know what I'm saying?
We don't really.
Usually we don't do a loading phase anymore now. We usually just start the drops. Yeah. We just start the drops and go.
But then how did your body know where to store that?
Especially it might be the first couple of days it'll still like register in your body, but especially by now because we've all used SlenderX.
I think our
body's used to SlenderX.
Yep, exactly. So just for sake of time, just because we're kind of running on a tight schedule, optimally I love like a full week and everything, but it's wise. Timing is more important than like a full week. We want to hit spring as quickly as possible,
and then we can all get better shape.
Exactly. I know.
I need to borrow a SlenderX.
Oh, yeah. I have plenty. I have 4 of them.
Yeah, nice.
That's on my thing. How many do I have?
There we go.
So this is open up to us, and we have any reps doing the program?
Reps that are actively building. This is meant for actively building reps.
Yeah.
Because we want to teach this reps, it needs to be a very committed group because we're going to teach them marketing. You know, so if you're just a customer and we're teaching, they're not going to do social media posts. Like that's weird for them. They have no, it could go out there and offend them or push them away because they're like, I don't want to build my business. I just want to be a customer right now. So you have customers, treat them separately, but this is meant to be active reps because we're teaching them how to get results and to market themselves on that. Make sense? Perfect. Okay.
So then you can learn how do you use the products, but be able to get retail customers while using it, because you all use the product already. So how do we do that? Because if you know how to do it for SlenderX, you can transition into all the other products.
I'm just thinking of someone like a Sharon who says she wants to start.
No.
It's too difficult.
Because she was already pushed away by the business. So you want to treat her as a customer for now, just a happy customer. Because can you imagine you tell Sharon, you need to post every single day on your social media about the product.
It's too much commitment for a customer. She's like, I'm trying to retire. You know, like so. No.
Yeah, she's trying to refer, but she hasn't had any luck. So I thought maybe this would help.
Not yet.
Yeah. But she's not going to be committed, and she's going to bring down the culture of the environment because she's going to be like, oh, I'm going somewhere, so I can't post. Like, and but with us, we're all committed to our business. So with like the 10 to 20 people, for example, like all these things that we're adding, it is more work, but it's also we're building our business and we're serious about it. Like I want to get on my job, so we're like serious about it, which is why I don't mind doing extra work. I don't mind putting together this SlenderX group and making a daily commitment because I'm like, I brush my teeth every single day. Why can't I do this for my business?
Exactly.
But I want more, and it really is just.
So the SlenderX group is really to boost up our customer campaign, retail sales.
Retail sales.
Yeah, you got it.
Exactly.
You got it.
What's the time difference between Valley and?
It's 4 hours ahead and then flip the AM and PM. So right now it would be 2 PM.
4 hours ahead.
4 hours ahead and flip the.
It's 16 hours ahead.
16 hours.
There we go.
I think yours is yours.
We have both to make sure we got the covered, you know. Yeah. So message us. I think we should have Wi-Fi, but just to be safe, don't expect immediate responses. We're gonna figure out how it works.
Right, and keep your phone on silent.
But
So that when we're doing it at our time, it won't be waking you up your time.
don't worry
Like
about that.
That'd be
We're
good.
like,
They
And
teach
you're gonna be
they're
partying
teaching
and get
first.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're very
But you know what's really like when you like are like just want something, it's like just message us, you know, because if you wait for a better time and it wasn't a better time,
Right.
you're like waiting a long time to get your answers,
Right.
and that's holding you back from your business.
We'll get back to you within the day.
Yeah.
We got you.
But I'm really excited about this group. Like I feel like it really is that sense of like hardcoreness that built us. Like when James and I first started the business, you know, I was a broke college student, right? Like I didn't even think arts, well, you saw that at the time, was going to be my like, you know, like my profession, my legacy business. Like I didn't think any of that, but we were still hardcore. Like we were first one at training. We stayed until like 2 a.m. all the time, and we were just like hustling, you know. We were always putting our business as a priority. And I think if we're able to, and it's true, right? You can't float your way to the top. So it's a given that hard work is required. But once you put it into your culture, into your into your routine, it really becomes second nature. You know, it's not as difficult as you really think.
Exactly.
And we really have to wrap our head around income producing activities, because a lot of times I think people feel like, well, I spend this many hours at training, but if we're not talking to people after training at Call Party, we're not doing anything for our business, right? If we're not actively reaching out to people, inviting people, presenting to people, training to people, we're getting customers, we're not building the business.
Exactly.
And it's like we can't blame the business being hard if we're not doing those activities, right? So I think now that we have this like wrapped around, it's going to be really, really helpful. James is going to go over like how to qualify for Goat Retreat. But at least we have the retail site done as like a campaign that we're going to do. And imagine you all getting into a good habit of using the products while marketing yourself, and it becomes seamless. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. We're just living life. As you're using a product, you naturally just snap it. Like today, I took a video of me changing the purity filter, and it was just, I'm already doing it, and it wasn't that hard. I just put a video there, you know, I added some music that Instagram already has, you know, so it really wasn't difficult. But it has to get into a habit of things, because if it's not a habit, you won't remember. You won't think to do that, you know, and you will miss out that opportunity, and it will feel like you have to dedicate extra time to just do social media, and then, you know, like it's not consistent and it doesn't give exposure, and you don't get the results, and you get discouraged. Like that's usually the loop, you know. So this is going to really help all of us to get into the routine of things.
How often did you say it for post a story or video of the product?
One story a day. One story a day.
Once a week.
They might be a shot for at least for some maybe new reps, or
we'll force them to do.
They have to do it. It's just exposure. Well, because the good thing with stories, it doesn't stay on your social media. So if the reps are not open, then they're not a part of this group. Like they can build any other way, but if they're not open to do it, then they can't be a part of this group. This is for like the hardcore group that wants to qualify for Goat Retreat, that wants to like make this quarter like epic and not complain about what we're doing. You know, it's because it's not for new reps. You know, like if it's for new reps that are excited to do everything. But it's not for new reps that are still testing the water. That's like.
So the guys that you talked to, the ones that were here Saturday, are they in the group?
Some of them would be.
Not Chris, not Anthony, because they're not doing SlenderX because they're skinny.
The other Chris and Priscilla.
Oh, the other Chris,
Both.
Yes, both. There we go.
What about Isaiah? And
Not Isaiah. Mark and
Isaiah's
Frank
not
would.
doing SlenderX. Mark and Frank are.
Yep. And then from there, if there's any other recommendations, let us know. We'll chat about that. Perfect. Okay, so that'll get the customer side down. Then, but do you see how, like, if you really think about it, like that's not hard. Like, do you see how that can pretty easily wrap up your retail sales side?
Yeah.
Like that's not tough, and it'll be extra fun. So what we're doing is we're making these campaigns to make your life easier at the end of the day, right? And to teach you the habits of success.
So,
yeah.
I guess, like, I'm gonna do this more. I'm just like the social media posts on like Instagram and stuff. But the goal is like I'm just living life, and someone might be intrigued, like, oh, what's she doing? What's she doing? Like, I mean, that's the goal. Like, if I haven't been posting daily, so that could be the reason why. But would it be like after like a week, I'm like, oh, Jane, no one's curious. Is there things I need to like let you know?
We'll chat. And
And
that'll go into the next part.
okay.
You know. So the next part is
What are we posting in the group?
In the group is things like your daily food, pictures of your food. We're going to ask for some weight loss updates or weight gain, if that's your goal. Basically, updates on your journey. And that's pretty much it, honestly. The pictures, like maybe we don't want to ask for progress pictures in there. Like those are private things.
Yeah, maybe water intake.
Maybe water intake. Did you hit your? Maybe we'll just be like, did you hit your gallon of water? You know, like something like that.
So if you ask the question, you're just asking for our response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
So
simple
prompt
things.
us, like, hey,
Yeah.
what you guys have today?
Exactly. So we'll have like one post and post your food pictures here.
Yeah.
You know, because this way we can look at it. And what's the goal? This will be a good skeleton for the future when you're supporting your reps, because you can literally look at their food as well too.
What happens? Like, I eat the same food.
Good, perfect. Just keep on
So
posting.
I'm just posting the same picture.
Keep on posting.
Yeah, you
There
can
we
just
go.
take it once and post the
Same.
same
Copy
thing.
paste,
Okay,
same
do
thing.
the same thing, hit the
You
same
got
thing.
it.
There's gonna be
Efficiency.
days that you don't,
Right,
right?
there's
Right.
some days I don't, but yeah, my
Efficiency.
basics.
Yep.
You don't always take new pictures if you're doing the same thing,
Mhm.
unless you're tracking something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Second thing is, of course, then we need to talk about the rep side.
Yes.
You know, so the rep side, just to make it really easy, okay, is this. One habit that I picked up was continually talking to people every day. All right. So we're going to make we've already made a very simple tracker. Okay. Now, I'm not expecting you to talk to 20 people a day. All right. I got up to 20, but there were some days I did 10, because you know what's going to happen? You're going to start getting so busy with appointments, even that like appointment takes more priority than connecting with a new person. I know it's going to take time. So your team is inevitably going to start making you more busy, which is good. But 10 conversations a day, I think, is a very reachable number. You know, you can do that just throughout the day. Can you imagine every hour you had one conversation? Conversation meaning you're just reaching out to someone, right? Let's say they didn't respond. That's okay. That's a conversation, because they might respond eventually. All right. So what we're going to do is we have a tracker, and this is specifically for those that are committed to the Gold Retreat, because what I found for me to be very helpful is I literally, as I'm doing and I've shown you guys, right? On my phone, I have a little, very simple tracker here. And I have a list of the people that have gone out there and I just talked to, you know, and I just literally like jot down their names and maybe some notes next to them. This way I know each day, what is it that I'm doing, you know? And I have some notes so I can follow up on them or whatever it is like that. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. I just want something where I can track, because then I can review it and I can see how many people did I actually talk to, right? There's days where I'm like, I feel like I did so much work. I only talked to like 5 people, huh? You know, it's like, then it gives me a very realistic expectation there. So what we have is a group tracker. So Becky made an Excel sheet on Google Docs that everyone, we're going to share it with you guys. You each have your own sheet there, and it's very simple. There's a number of people, you put the name of the people that you talked to that day, and there's also a note section for your own purpose. The goal is for this to be a good accountability measure for you to track yourself, but also what it allows us to do is then we can, let's say Andrew as a prospect is like, hey James, I talked to this prospect George today, and I look on the sheet and you typed in some notes there, then we can be on the same page there.
Really quick.
You know, it's just like, boom. I don't have to be like, who was that person you talked to again?
Yeah,
You
because
know?
if you're telling us, like, if 10 people tell us, like, different people they've talked to, we're going to forget the prospects, right? Because we don't have emotional attachments to them. Yeah, so having that would be helpful. And I thought about giving you guys, like, individual sheets, but I think it's better if we all see each other's work.
That works.
Because then that's also another accountability factor, right? Because if you're seeing someone else is talking to these many people and you didn't, you're gonna feel like, okay, next day I need to catch up, right? And also it helps us like not have 10 sheets going around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we each have a
And this is just for the goal retreat. So we're not doing this forever. The goal is for you to get into a good habit until you're like, I can already do this on my own naturally. Even when we're like, when you have a big team, like we should still be talking to people and connecting. Exactly. And 10 is really not difficult because we thought about what number it would be. Because 20, for example, when I did that on Tuesday, I had to like put in some undivided attention, and it took me like an hour and 20 minutes. But I was like focused. And I get that sometimes we don't have an hour and 20 minutes if you're like doing something with family, or you're on vacation, or you're like in meetings and like you don't have that many. So I was like, okay, 10 is very doable, because the only reason it took me an hour and 20 minutes is because it got harder towards the end, because I'm like, who else can I talk to? And I started like digging rather than just like messaging people that were online.
So these 10 are like prospects, not like, oh, I said hi to the banker.
As long as you got their contact, that counts as a conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So they could be new prospects. They could be
It
follow-ups.
could be in person. It could be like over the phone. It could be over messaging.
It could be on campus. It could be whatever.
Surveying. As long as, but it can be like a stranger that you never can find anymore, like at the banker. Like you have to like get their number, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So, for example, I have these lists of these people, and these are the people I'm tracking. These are people who haven't told me no, right? So I'm going to follow them every day. So then sometimes it's going to be the same person, because
that is fine.
You know, they're supposed to call back, but they didn't, and then I'll follow them again.
Yep.
But yeah, I have a list that they're not known yet.
Perfect. That's good. Follow-ups count.
Yeah.
Follow-ups count.
So it's okay when you see that same name, and then on the side 2 days later.
Exactly. Yeah. So it can be the same name, and what you're going to start to realize is, and the goal is 10 is like just a bar. But make it a goal, under promise, over deliver. You know, what's going to start being cool, and it's helpful that you track it, right? Is you're going to see it, and especially when it's on a sheet like this, is that you're going to be like, oh man, I did 10 today, and I can do 12 tomorrow. I can do 15 tomorrow. I'm going to get more efficient, right? And then even more exciting, there's also a part on the bottom. You track where you are with your goal set, your goal retreat. How many reps have you sponsored? How many points of sales have you done? You know?
To clarify, you want us to put the
Yes. Yeah. Anyone that is not a rep or a customer that you have a conversation with counts. That you have contact with. You know, so you can't be a stranger that you can never get in contact with.
And another thing with Pam's list is, most likely it's not going to be the same 10 people every single day, because if you think about it, it's kind of annoying to talk to the same people 3 days in a row. Like, you know, maybe we should do the 2-2-2 rule, right? Like maybe every 2 days, maybe like every 3 days, if they don't pick up, or maybe find a different like way to talk to them. And then you're going to, and if they don't respond, you're going to have so much time, right? You're going to get through the 10 super quick, and you're going to have a little more time. You're going to be able to talk to more people, right? Yeah. Exactly. So that's why we're saying don't make 10, like don't let your minimum be your maximum.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But first question is, do you guys feel realistically, that you could commit to having 10 conversations a day?
Like intentional for your business. Yes. Like I'm messaging this person because I want to know what they're up to, so maybe I can find a hot button. Message this person because I really want to invite them for the product. Like it has to be intentional, right? Or message this person because I want to get to know what they're all about. Like
exactly.
You know, so you can like build that relationship.
Exactly. You're gonna have fun with this, because whatever you track will grow.
Exactly.
You're going to be like, oh man, this is exciting. And then you start to see them transition. You'll see after a couple of days this grows. You're like, wow, like I'm making, even if they didn't do anything, you just had 10 conversations, you tracked it. It makes you feel like you're winning, you know? So the goal is to build up consistent habits that make you feel like you're making forward progress in everything. And it's inevitably going to lead you guys to some good business out there. Okay.
Can I share something very simple? Like usually like when I come to training, I'm like going back, I'm starving, I'm not. But today I totally, all I did was I just made myself a shake. I took my drops, did the shakes, took all my supplements, and I came. And it was just like something we should do, but like, you know, sometimes I just forget, or not forget. It's like, oh, I'll just do it after training, and then I'm starving. So it's just like one of those habits, like you
Little
said,
habits.
one of those
Yep.
things that we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It felt really good. Like, okay, I'm not hungry now.
There we
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Good stuff. You're figuring out your
It's a
system
habit.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So those two simple things. Okay. So to recap everything. All right. And Leslie says she's down as well too, which is great.
Should we also keep a track of opinions too?
You can put it on your sheet for your own personal reference, but we're not necessarily tracking that.
It's too many things to track
Yeah.
at once.
The goal is for this to be just a little jump start for you, but on your sheet, definitely if you feel like it's helpful.
And when you do the appointment and it hits
Yeah.
the results, right?
What we're going to track is the result itself, not necessarily the appointments itself. I know. So at the end of the day, let's recap really quick. Okay. Number one is this. All right. Commit yourself. Commit yourself with an urgent deadline. That's what I got from Courtney's testimonial. That's the biggest thing, right? That's what I got from my own experience. You need to be obsessed. And there's so many reasons to be obsessed. Be obsessed for being a pioneer. Be obsessed for having this experience. Like, I'm excited for this trip. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a bomb trip. We're gonna make it really fun. Like I'm excited. I want to work hard and enjoy.
Yes.
You know, one big thing that I've learned, me and Becky have learned, especially this year, is how to enjoy life while you're working towards where you want to go. It doesn't mean you have to withhold happiness.
Right.
You can be happy at any phase of your life.
Yeah.
You know, however much you have, however little you have, we can still have a lot of fun. I want to make sure this trip is a lot of fun. Okay. I'm already thinking about looking at all the eating places. Like basically, you know, I'm thinking like how we go on a trip, you can experience how we go on a trip. We're very like strategic. We're very like, we map things out. If you want to experience the most in one sitting where you're just like living it all up, like it's pretty cool. I know. So I'm already imagining that. Be obsessed for your own sake of your own buildup of your self-confidence. Be obsessed to set your own standard, your own bar, to prove it to yourself. You know, be obsessed because it's in the way of your ultimate goals.
Yeah.
Be obsessed. Well, question: if you hit Golden Tree, aren't we all going to make more money this next month?
Yeah, for sure.
By default.
Yep.
I'm gonna bet you're probably gonna you're gonna at least hit 500. At least.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah. You're probably gonna make 1,000.
Yeah.
And you might make more, depending on how fast you can tap your people, or if you're just going overboard on. No one said you only have to do 500 points of retail.
That's true.
No one said you can only recruit 4 people. Right. You know, aim for more. But I believe everyone's here. Your paycheck will be more than this last month.
Definitely.
For sure. And it won't feel hard. I actually feel like it'll feel a lot more productive and easy for you, and you're going to get more addicted to it.
Right.
You know, and it's going to build up that muscle there. Yeah. I know. So number one is committing to that, right? Number two, then from there, how do we do it? Well, we have a couple accountability pieces in there. All right. And play these games with us. Treat these really well, right? It's 2 simple tools. Number one, this SlenderX accountability group. Have fun with it. Okay, sounds like everyone's down to pitch in $20. Be the winner. Yeah. If you're gonna do this anyway, might as well win. Yeah. Hey, that could pay for your Palm Springs trip on the dime of your teammates. Like, thank you for paying for my meal. But have that, and that's gonna teach you all the habits that you're gonna do. Right. On how to incorporate your products in daily lifestyle and how to start exposing yourself on social media. Yeah. Okay. Then from there, you have this little 10-a-day accountability piece. Okay. That's it. That's it. Tuesday, we'll have a pre-recorded training of some sort. Why? Because the goal is to have new teammates. Right. Okay. And Tuesday, I want to be able to do some type of fast start. I would love to recognize stuff. I would love to launch things, you know. Then from there, other meetings, that's up to the team, and it's up to you guys what you want to do. Yeah. Well, when we need help, we might. I'll let you know if we do or not. You know. But your main priority, just focus on your stuff.
So to clarify, we are coming here tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
At 7:30. And then everybody else is coming, like the other guys?
Yep.
Okay.
So it'll be a team training.
Well, we come earlier because
we're going to come early.
Yes.
I get
yep.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow I do have that for them to take the too, so I might be here. So is it a recording we're all watching?
Yes. So I'm going to pre-record and then I'll launch it, and then from there we'll probably have like a call party. One thing we've also noticed the last couple of weeks, it's very impactful when we have a dedicated time to an actual call party.
Yeah, I would hate to say that the truth is it's helpful.
It's helpful.
And watching you do that was impactful. I have to admit it.
Good.
The truth is just the truth.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't like doing call parties. I don't like sitting here.
Right. No one does.
No one does.
I can talk in front of you guys, but
Yep.
I don't like it. And
You know why? Because it's work.
Well, no. So it's like, it's yeah. I'm not that comfortable, like, with people listening and and I don't know what I'm going to say until I start talking. Like, it's not planned. And it's doing me uncomfortable.
Yep. It pushes you outside.
And think about the future you. Like when you are running a team of 20, wouldn't you want to show them how badass you are inviting someone? Right. So get comfortable. So get comfortable now because these people won't judge you. But your downline's gonna be like, oh, Pam looked so scared. I'm scared to invite now. Right.
Yep. That's fine.
I just it's coming this week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Times.
Tomorrow?
Not the training. Oh no, I haven't signed
They're coming
They're
next.
coming this week.
Perfect.
In the next few days.
Good.
Seriously.
Good. So that'll be fun. I could imagine the training might be an hour, right? Some announcements, and then I do like an hour of a dedicated call party, and I just ask you guys to maintain that culture. Do what you want to do. Get it hashed out, and just by you doing that will help the new people. Right.
And I think what's really good practice too is like if you treat everybody here, like if you take responsibility and treat everybody here as your team, like how would you act? Right? Like if you want 10 people in your team showing up to training and like you might not have them yet right now, but would you know how to act when they're here?
Exactly.
Right? Like if you became that person that like led the charge and inspired everyone around you, like and you really treated these people like they're your team. Not that you need to like help them, but like you're setting a good example. Like we wouldn't do things like chit-chatting on the side or like making a shake, or I mean that's like important, but like sometimes I see people like during call party they decide to do all these chores or errands, and it's like that's not what call party is supposed to do, right? Like that's business time. Like this is a time where you're doing you're hashing out your team 20 and you're getting appointments. Like it's focused time. So make yourself comfortable though, right? Like if you're like if it helps you walking around rather than like sitting here, then do that, right? But like have a focused mission and just hash it out, because you have to think like if my downline's watching me right now, am I inspiring?
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. You got it. Perfect. Okay. And outside of that, when it comes to like overviews and stuff like that, I honestly feel like if the team comes together and they're really focused and committed, it's honestly up to you guys if you guys want to do an overview or not. That's not my call. That's up to what the team feels is beneficial. I do feel like maybe having one overview a week and hearing everyone's story, but it needs to be a call to action. Like I would love it if on Wednesday there's an overview. I think it's a great time to really go for that and to make that a part of the culture as well, where at least can you imagine there's one dedicated night a week where there could be an expectation that, hey, there's going to be a presentation going on. Because what if you have people outside that just need more exposure? Or what if you have new reps that are on board that need more seriousness because they need to hear someone else's story? Or what if you just have someone that you feel is just better in a group setting? There is always something powerful about a group presentation. And I think it's going to be a fun experience for you guys because we're going to throw different people on stage as well too. You guys are all capable speakers. You don't need us to speak, honestly. Everyone here is capable.
The overview is really for reps, so especially for the new reps that may have heard their story but not heard theirs. So are we saying, is there a number, like it's just like one person? Like it's not really a overview, right? Like we don't want to bombard like all of us from the new guests. Like, I mean, are we saying if we have like 2 or 3 that would be an overview, or are we gonna just?
What do you guys think?
Just among all of us?
What do you guys think? You guys are the ones that are going to be running this, but what do you guys want? What do you think would be beneficial for you guys?
Well, I want to
bring a guest.
Okay.
Minimum 2 guests confirmed by 2 p.m. Wednesday.
Okay. Let me set a different standard actually, because just flake rates and stuff. I would say if as a team, because how many guests do you want at an overview minimum? Just curious, like what would you guys want?
3.
So if that's the case, we need 5 on the whiteboard by tomorrow night, because there's a flake rate, and if there's 5 on the whiteboard, probably 2 or 3 will show up. You want to set your marks at a bare minimum there. And if that's the goal, then if you really think about it, right, if each of us committed to bringing 1 guest on Wednesday, that's 4, right? And what that'll naturally do, then you have new teammates that are fired up, like they'll naturally bring them as well too. Okay. And if our goal is to get gold done anyway, shouldn't we start immediately?
Yeah.
And you know what that'll do for you? You know, I'd be thinking about it back of our shoes. I need to make sure I got some business process lined up so on call party, like I can get it down. I got my name on the whiteboard right there. If you guys commit to that, remember it's pre-committing and you're going to figure it out. You know, there were days I didn't have guests in the morning and I had 2 more appointments later that day because I said, I need to build my team. If that means I need to go spend some time doing campus surveying, which is a great time to do it, you know, Duke said on Saturday, the #1 reason why people didn't do well with surveying is it just wasn't a consistent thing. If you did it 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, or 2 hours for 3 days, like that's all you really need. That's all me and Andrew did in the beginning, really. We did like Monday through Wednesday. We had enough numbers, you know, that's for us if we don't have the market that we want to have. You know, and I would do it together as a group, you know, pick a place, pick a time, do whatever, right? Whatever it takes to get the job done, you know? But if the group is down for an overview, then what I'll do in the pre-recorded training is I will make that call to action. And at the end of the day, I'm going to leave the responsibility up to you guys to say, we're going to go crush that number.
What which
We'll use the Gold Retreat group.
And who does anybody know how to set all this up? Like
Andrew does. So we'll leave this laptop.
The password is the same.
You got it. Perfect. And then from there, we're down to like ID training. Like we did an ID training for Andrew, and then he used that in his tabletop the other day. So who will the speakers be? I don't know. That'd be the fun part.
Yeah, and I really want us to treat this like you're a new rep, right? Like you have to view yourself like a new rep, because I think a lot of times I just get this general feeling that our team is scared of recruiting. And it's just really interesting because James and I were born into the recruiting environment. Like we didn't have customers for 5 years in our marketing business. Like getting customer was scary for us. So it really is a shift in mentality. Like I really want all of us to feel like we're brand new again. And when you're talking to these people, don't worry if your invite is not perfect. It's just numbers. It's like if you talk to enough people and you had enough excitement and you're just like, even if you like just told them like, oh dude, like wow, like you know, like after talking to you I just loved your energy. You know what, like my company's actually looking for people to fill in positions. We're actually talking about what it's all about tonight. Are you free? Like it's all about your energy. I mean that's obviously not a legit invite, but it's just your energy, right? You could literally say that to any person that you just had a good conversation with, if they just, but you have to be like, you have to be brave enough, you know? It's like, there's too much judging and too much thinking and too much like, oh, are they gonna like it? Are they not? Like, who cares? If you don't show it to them, they're not gonna like it, you know? But if you show it to them, then at least they have an option to choose. Right? But it needs to have that energy. Like, and I'm super, super fired up about this event because I feel like Duke just really laid out the entire track for us, but we have to get ourselves in that attitude. Like, I don't want you guys to wait until someone else is qualified and then feel the burn and then get started. Because trust me, like, I mean, yeah, it helps, like, you know, feeling the burn, but why not just like already get there? Like, let's just skip those steps. Right, and get there faster. But it's about, bottom line though, it's about how many people you're talking to and how many people you're inviting. Like it's just a numbers game. you know, as harsh as sounds like initially, but it is a numbers game in the beginning, right? Until like, you know, you get enough action, then you can like be more picky about who you're inviting. But if you want someone on your team, if you're like, this person is cool, like this person seems like, you know, they have some good connections. Like talk to people you want on your team, right? Like don't talk to people that are just like easy, that are like shy and don't have market, super broke, and like can't carry a conversation. Like you don't want these people on your team, right? Like I know we want to help everybody, but you want the superstars right now, so you can train these people and be able to like help the rest of the population, you know? But it has to be like, you have to sense that energy, you know? Like I know it's a really, really long training, but I mean, like I barely slept last night because we had a really long conversation with one of our teammates, and like, so I like slept past my bedtime, so I can't even talk. And then not curfew, I don't have curfew. My bedtime. And I just like, and I woke up at 6, and I was supposed to wake up at 7 usually, but I woke up at 6 and I just like couldn't sleep. And there's so much like just running in my mind. And I worked a really long day. I had 7 meetings at work because it's my last day before we head outside. A lot of things to do, and I don't feel tired. Like it just, you know, like it's because I know what to do. Like I'm excited to do these things. You know, like I'm like we're totally going, like, because I'm already seeing what James did, and he kind of like blazed the trail for us. Because I wasn't talking to 20 people a day, right? I only talked to 20 people that day when he told all of us to talk to. But I was like, wow, if he's able to get that type of results, I can do that. You know, like I can totally do that. It's not that hard. And it's just, but because I don't have a lot of time, like I'm doing it faster because I don't want to like waste time. I don't want to wait for other people to blow up and then be like, oh, okay, like, what can and give excuses to myself. You know, I don't want to say, oh, I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of that. At the end of the day, you're still not going to have what you want. Right? And no one's going to feed my kids. So, so that's, so like, so with that type of energy, you'll recruit anybody, you know? And when people say no, you won't care.
Exactly. Perfect. I'm excited, guys. There's a lot that's going to go down, but can you imagine what it's going to be like 4 to 5 weeks from now? When us going down to Palm Springs together?
It's just a 4-week commitment.
I know.
Like we've all done Slendrix for 4 weeks.
It's gonna change your life. It's gonna. My life has totally changed in every single aspect in the last month. Just because I started with a simple commitment and an obsession with a goal like what you guys are embarking on. You know.
Only 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Like it's crazy what happens.
Are we supposed to get the ID chain?
When we know, so when we pick the speaker,
gone, so if we're doing these meetings, when do we?
We'll chat about it.
What do we do?
We'll chat about
like
it.
Before your appointment. So once you like, if you have a table talk that you're gonna do, just let us know.
And we'll
just
hash it out.
over the web.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, I'm talking about we're doing an overview Wednesday. We have to have our IDs in.
We'll get the guests and then we'll train you.
So what we'll probably do is after Tuesday, we'll look at the numbers. And based on the guests, we'll pick the speakers. You know, like probably it's going to go to the teammates that have guests, because you want to be on stage because you have more influence being on stage. And we want to go out there, and the teammates that want on stage are the ones that are actively building their business, showing the example. Because teammates that go take notes on the people on stage. So it is a very important role, because just you're on stage, they look at you. And they're like, oh, they must be super important. So let me look at what they do outside of just the presentation. So we want to make sure they're the best examples of everything that we're talking about. So whether that's basically those that are committed the most to these accountability measures we talked to. And if we see that effort there, then we want to put you on stage. I know. So it's not necessarily who's the quote unquote better speaker. It's the better example.
Well, I'm not even thinking about it for the audio. I'm just thinking about it for table talks.
Before your appointment.
Yeah, so let's say if you schedule an appointment, just message James, oh, I have an appointment tomorrow at 10, and then we'll figure out the time, right, in between. And most likely it will work because our time zones flipped. So most likely you're going to have at least like a 10-hour.
If we haven't yet, you might pay draft ID too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how it's supposed to be
We'll figure it out when you get your guests. So what we did with Andrews, he had a table talk confirmed. I'm like, hey, let's chat about it. And we just hashed it out. So we'll set that.
So I think what Duke was saying and what I did for you guys was I recorded myself. And I gave it to you guys, and then you guys made some tweets.
Yeah.
That's what people do too. It's like, hi, my name's Eric.
No, what I mean is like, because the IDs are different now, right? Because we're trying to model a different style.
Come up with a rough draft.
Points of like the direction it should go.
Here, this is what I'd say. Be a problem.
About the first 30 days, or are you talking about the $300 to $500 in the first week or month or whatever?
This is what we should do. When you get your first guest, we'll just build one from scratch. Well, we'll teach you how to do it. It won't take too long. We got you.
You already know your story,
exactly.
So it's not
like I have a very good idea of what I do for you. All right. Like I have a good idea of what I do for everyone, honestly. We just have to, I want to train it when you use it right then and there.
Is my story okay with the tweaks that you told me to do?
You gave us your idea already. Yours is fine. Yours is fine. And well, honestly, as we go through this, I would want to further tweak.
Yeah.
You know, I want to further.
The more you use it, the more you're going to like refine it, right? Yeah.
Sweet. That'd be good.
We made tweaks for you.
Or you send it back. Hi, I'm Lil.
Yeah. You can record it for you already. Okay.
Yep. Sweet. All right, team. I'm excited for you guys. You guys are going to be the real trailblazers. Because it's one thing for me to go out there and give this a shot. It's really the one that's going to have the most inspiration for the whole organization in the future is not my story, it's your guys' story. Because we, being us, right, just being involved for so long and everything that's happened in our career, people could judge and be like, well, that's James and Becky, you know? But for you guys, they could be like, wow, that's it. Like, why Courtney has more impact with her story than our story.
Academy was so powerful because of her testimony.
Exactly. But your guys' testimonials are going to be a similar impact to hers.
Right.
We're looking for those trailblazers. And I fully believe everyone here has that potential to do it. And these accountability measures, just treat them seriously. If anything, just treat it like a job at first if you have to.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I think in the beginning, we have to treat it like a job because people operate better when they don't have a lot of freedom. When they're like, oh, I have to do it.
Yep. So we'll get you guys added to these groups by tonight, and then we start it all tomorrow, and we'll go for this. Any other questions?
For the tracking.
Cool. The tracking,
so
the Sunrise group, and the tracker.
I'll send you guys their sheet as well.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys gonna, do you guys all use Gmail?
Okay, we got this. All right, guys. Cool.
So
Good stuff.